Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning! Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy rain day. Jeez. BT and I are sitting out in the rain this morning outside the building and looking at each other going, it's another day. It's another day of rain. What the hell? Build the ark. This is crazy. Insane. Another day. But it actually felt all right because the Phillies won. And there were points during that game where I was like, they're losing this game. They're losing the game. There were several points during that game. Even when they were up 2-1, I thought they were losing the game. It almost went the way I said it was going to go yesterday, that Wheeler would give up a run in the first, shut them down the rest of the way, and they would lose 1-0. You remember me saying that yesterday. And it played out like that for a minute, and it started to look like that. Then it's 1-1, then they take the lead, and then Cubs tie it. First of all, I was just saying to VG, it's great to have Wheeler back, right? Like, when you get Wheeler, he really is the ultimate stopper of losing streaks. The reason why they call an ace a stopper, he's a true stopper. Like, he comes in and he's like, listen, we're going to shut this down now. And other than the Tucker home run, he shut them down. Like, he was masterful. You know, my only thing is I wish he would have went 7, right? You almost need him to go 7 every time with this bullpen. And the bullpen was dicey. And the bullpen was dancing through raindrops. But even after the Cubs tie it, take the lead in extras, Phillies battle back and win. And right now, be honest with you, all you need to do is win a game. They were at that moment. Like, when you lose 9-10, get swept by the Pirates, you got to just win a game, right, against a decent team. The Cubs are a decent team. You win a game, you just feel much better about yourself. You know, the same issues still arise, like, you know, lineup and generating runs and all that stuff. In fact, my cousin said that without Harper, the Phillies are the Pirates with a big payroll. And it was funny because I was like, it's a great line. It's hard to watch sometimes. Like, last night, I found myself drifting. And then I went to the hockey, and which was wild, right? I started watching Edmonton, Florida, kind of checking back on the Fightins, going back and forth, which was an incredible game because Florida, early on, Edmonton's there, and then Florida kind of takes control. But then it becomes chippy. And Florida breaks the game open early in the third period. The game's still a game. It's not, you know, at one point, like, you could still come back with, like they were talking about on the broadcast, but they were just defeated and they were in their heads. And then it was cheap shots and cross checks and slashes and fights. It was actually one of the, for a blowout game, a 6-1 game, it was thrilling. It was highly entertaining with all the stuff going on, sending messages for the rest of the series. That's why there's nothing better than series play. When you have series play, you just hate each other. Like, it just happens organically that you hate the other team, let alone these two, it's a rematch from last year's Stanley Cup Finals. So there's already bad blood. Then you throw Ratface in there, right? You throw Marchand in there. He's a stirrer, right? He stirs the bleep. And it's just one after the other. And it was good stuff. It was fun. It was fun stuff. All right, lots to do today. We're going to be busy today. We have a game we're going to play. We're going to play 4 for 4 bust out. So Brain thinks he knows all, and I don't doubt it. Brain that's very good, Andrew. I like it. I like it. That looks cool. Good colors, color scheme. Look, it looks good. 4 for 4 bust out. Brain thinks he knows all. Mike Sielski knows all. This is going to be a Titan, heavyweight Titan. We're going to do a series of the 4 for 4 bust outs. So I got 20 guys, 20 bust out players. I'm going to give them clues. They're going to try to guess the player. I know Tasty Cake Dom wants a piece of it. There's going to be other people in the audience who want a piece of it. We'll start with the Brain and Sielski. Mikey and the Brain. Oh, it's a damn monster movie. So I'll have some fun with that. Baldy for the Meat Locker. And one of the great, I'm really looking forward to this book. I started The Making of Mike Tyson, Baddest Man. The author, Mark Kriegel, is a buddy of mine who is one of the greatest writers of our generation. He did Pistol Pete Maravich biography. He did a Joe Namath biography. Brilliant stuff. Tyson, yeah, I mean, you want to talk about a great palette for words. That story of Mike Tyson is awesome. Awesome. So we'll talk to Mark about his book that's out, and you should buy it and read it. Great summer reading. Good morning, VG.
What's up, man?
What's with that grin?
Otto, baby! O-T-T-O, Otto. Man, the guy's just a lightning rod for this team. On base 3 times, scores a run, hasn't bunted in 4 years, and lays down a beauty with all the nerves. Come on, man. That guy's got ice in his veins. I'm so excited for him to be here. Boom, who? Just put Otto at third. That's it. Rest of the season, we got a nice right-handed bat who can bunt, who can hit a laser to left field.
The bunting Phils.
Yeah. Man, I've been waiting for this guy for a month. I am so stoked. I'm going down tonight to see him. He better be in the lineup tonight. Let's go.
I love the excitement. I'm ready for it.
5'11", 185 pounds of pure muscle. Otto Kemp.
OTTO, baby.
Yeah. Frontwards, backwards, it's all the same, baby. Otto.
You're not feeling it.
Should I?
Yeah, man.
Because in 20 years, there's going to be somebody sitting here on PHLY desk doing their show. Maybe it's Massimo, who will be doing.
Talking about Otto's induction into the Hall of Fame.
Talking about
Cooperstown.
Let's go 4 for 4 bust out. There was a dude.
No
all
way.
right?
No way, dude.
Okay.
No.
Were his initials.
No,
he came
man.
up for a cup of coffee.
They'll be talking about a statue.
Yeah.
That's what they'll be talking about.
Exactly.
You can't go wrong. Otto the Great.
You got double day over there. who talking about sacking managers?
Can I
He's on your squad.
Can I tell you?
Otto.
I rolled out early, like 6:45, 7 o'clock to walk the dog, just throwing some shorts. And I wore long pants. The Pekin goes, "What are you wearing?" She's like, "What is going on with your socks?" And I had socks like his kind of pulled up mid-calf with shorts. And she's like, "What the hell are you wearing?" I was like, "Oh, it's early. Give me a break."
I'm growing on you.
I was like, "The kids all wear it like this." She's like, "You should not wear this. This is a bad look." And she was right. I was embarrassed. I'm so glad no one saw me.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
It's a bad look.
It's a bad look.
It's a good look.
Listen, you got you got nothing, cuz. I mean, you wear floods every day, and you wear socks.
But he's on the Otto train, man.
Yeah, I'm in shorts today.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. You always wear floods.
Shorty shorts, too. Like,
Is
there's
that
a lot
right?
of
I didn't
thigh.
see
There's
him.
a lot of thigh showing up there.
Is it?
Jeez,
Yeah.
You gotta release the knee, man. You gotta let the knee breathe. Mobility-wise.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get me started with your generation today. After my issue with Starbucks, having a cup of coffee.
Another issue today?
Well, they gave me the wrong coffee yesterday.
Yeah.
So I show up today. They want to charge me. I go, no. I go,
Well, you told them? You said, hey, yesterday you gave me the wrong.
I brought the coffee with. I saved the coffee to give them.
Whoa. This is next level lunacy. So you had the coffee in your car since yesterday.
Yeah.
And you saved it to bring it back today to tell them they got the wrong cup.
Yeah.
How'd they take that?
What do you mean? Well, so they go, oh, well, you know, something about you still got to pay for your coffee. I went, no, you gave me the wrong coffee yesterday.
Right.
Here it is. I'm not paying. All right.
Yes.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
And like the girl was like cocky.
Oh.
You know, well, I'm a human. What is with the human
I'm
thing?
a human.
I don't even understand what the human thing is.
Is she from stands as a human fund?
I don't even understand. But that's your generation. Everybody's big with saying, he's a great human. What else are you?
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's no other species.
A dog?
Right. Like, I don't understand the
Turtle?
use of the word human.
Look around.
It's the most ridiculous use of that word.
I don't subscribe to
bugs
that.
me, man. It really bugs me. Anyway, she's like, well, okay. Now, meanwhile, I'm there every day, like almost. It's right near Moscow school. Then she goes, well, you really should call us.
What?
I go, I don't have time to call you.
Who are you?
Like, I
do
gotta go to work. Like, you messed up. Like, no big deal. I don't care. I'm just showing you. This way you know that the reason why I saved it was to show them. Like, I'm not lying. I'm not trying to get out.
You could be a lunatic who poured some coffee that they didn't give you into that so you get a free one today. You could have drank it, went home, brewed some coffee and threw it in there.
That is next level.
No, because it says on the order of what it was.
Yeah.
And I go there every day. I get the same.
Yeah, so it said what it was on the outside, but what was the inside was wrong.
No.
Oh, they gave you the wrong cup totally?
Wrong cup totally.
Oh.
So the clue was on the cup.
Mm.
So it wasn't like I'm big. So I really wanted to show them the cup. Like, listen, just so you know, like, I'm not trying to get over on you for, $5 cup of coffee. I'm just trying to get my coffee in.
What's expensive cup of coffee?
With principle, I don't want to pay, at least I got to watch quarters, right? So I'm like, here, I just want my coffee. I need my coffee. The only thing I need every day is coffee.
Right.
You know that.
I'm aware.
If I can't do the show if I don't have coffee.
Yes, we're aware.
I can't do the show.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it if I don't have coffee. So I don't understand it. Like,
right.
Why
They ask for a receipt?
Catch attitude.
They ask for a receipt?
No, she just was like, whatever. I dealing with a 20, whatever.
They're bad with confrontation. My generation and the generation below me, they're bad with confrontation. They don't know how to talk things out.
Yeah, I know.
What are you trying to say?
I realize that. I realize confrontation is not your bailiwick, which I don't understand.
Hoflex24 in the chat says, quote, points at Anthony. Yes, officer, right here. Reminds me, like, there's oh man, he's one of my favorite comedians. I can't remember his name now. He was so funny, but they offer him a receipt at Dunkin' Donuts, and he's like, I don't think we need to involve paper and ink in this transaction. I can't imagine we returning this donut.
Right.
But you got this coffee. Luckily, you did have the paper and ink on the side of it to prove. But maybe they say, oh, this lunatic just grabbed the wrong coffee. Now he's trying to get a free one.
No, they gave me the coffee. I go to the drive-thru.
Oh,
yeah, it's the drive-thru.
Wait, are you doing this at the drive-thru?
Yeah.
Or did you go in?
No.
I'd be on my horn behind you. Look at this guy returning coffee at the drive-thru from yesterday. Dude, I'd be like, let's go.
A, there was nobody behind me. B, who cares? It's 3 seconds. Yo, you gave me the wrong coffee yesterday.
It's not 3 seconds. Now you're hurting her feelings. She's telling you she's human. There's a whole thing going on.
Oh, God, I can't take it, dude. I can't take it. It's why someday I just want to move to Italy on one of those. I can't speak the language. I can't talk. Hey, how you doing? Come sta? And then just be with my family.
Enjoy your life, yeah.
Oh, my God. The hassles. Like, you're right about the confrontation. You're right.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't know what it is. Is it you were coddled growing up? So
yeah, we're bubble
so
children.
you can't understand. I don't know. Like when you do any kind of in school, coach sports, you got to get coached. You know.
Yeah. Some coaches, and not everyone is a emotionally sensitive coach. Some coaches are hard asses, and you need it.
I mean, sometimes even I find it with the kids. Like, all right, dude. Like, yeah, with mine, I'm all over my kids.
You're digging places I don't want to dig all the time. All kinds of stuff.
Listen, because here's the thing: I want you to be ready for the world. Like the world is unkind. Like it's not Disneyland. Like you got to make your way.
Yeah, I mean, at times it's good, but you got to be prepared for those times. You got to be ready for the bad times and the bad people.
Well, just by saying
the mean people who return this coffee.
Big bad man.
You know, that's the story of the day.
Coming.
The story of the day is Cuz now. They're like, you know him? Oh, yeah, I know. He returned the coffee and he saved it for 24 hours and came back the next day.
Oh, I could care less.
You're the talk of the town today.
First of all,
oh, yeah, she's going to go home, tell all her friends.
Why wouldn't I do that?
Friends are like, what?
No, I agree with you. You should.
No, but why wouldn't I do that?
I don't know. I would just chalk it up as a loss.
You would chalk it up as a loss?
Yeah, I just would.
Why? Every day. Why would I want to give Starbucks, that company,
right?
Why
Which
would
is
I want to
charging
give them
an arm and a leg for a coffee?
Right, like, why would I do that?
No, I feel you. I understand
how am I in the wrong?
No, you're not in the wrong.
You're saying that. You said I'm in the
I
wrong.
No,
I said I got it wrong.
Put words in my mouth. I didn't say you were wrong.
Make it
I
right.
said I wouldn't do it. I just said you're wrong for doing it your way.
No, you're not wrong.
I wasn't judging you in that way.
No, if you go to a restaurant and you get the wrong order, you're going to send it back, right?
I don't know if I do it through the drive-through. I'm like walking in.
I'm there every day too. Like my guy Brian wasn't there. If Brian was there, it would have been easy because that happened before. This happened previously. Brian was there. I went, yo, Brian, they gave me the wrong coffee yesterday. He went, no problem, buddy.
Oh, all right.
So I thought it was the same thing, but Brian wasn't there.
It
was this young girl.
Picture of him on the inside of the takeout window. They'll be like, please make sure this guy double checks his coffee because he's going to return it tomorrow.
Listen, good.
Sir, can you make sure that's your coffee?
Because there's nothing that puts me in the worst mood than when I take a sip of the coffee. It was horrible.
There's a lot of sugar and vanilla.
Decaf, H, Splendors, and oat milk.
Oh.
I went like, I took a sip. I went, in my car.
Decaf coffee should not be a thing.
Why? What if I have a heart issue and I like coffee and taste the coffee?
It defeats the purpose of coffee.
Yes, you're right.
You guys are drug addicts.
You're right.
Drug addict. You don't like the taste of coffee. You're just trying to catch a high.
Yeah, with the caffeine.
Dude, yes. You need that jolt in the morning. You do.
My nice decaf tea. It's a little bit of
that's worse. Decaf tea
cane,
is like
pure cane sugar.
It's like flavored water.
You and I,
a little bit of grass-fed milk.
You and I could not be more different. We could not be more different.
We need to do. You're always doing shows. Let's do a reality show where we, as the Odd Couple, go back to our homeland of Puglia.
You're not from Puglia.
Yeah, I got the.
You're not.
I got the genetic test to prove it.
You were not from where I'm from. There's no way.
We should do that. But we should do a road trip movie through Puglia.
You're not.
Brothers.
Trace the ancestry.
There's no way he's from my.
Yeah, we're probably cousins. Like it's a small town. We're probably cousins.
No, there's no way you're from the Gargano region. There's no way. There's no way you were adopted.
No, I'll bring in the birth certificate.
I don't believe you. How's that possible?
I don't know. He's not Italian.
No.
You don't act Italian. You have no Italian traits.
No, my poor dad is rolling over in his grave. What do you mean I'm not Italian? Come on. I'll make a great gravy. We'll do a gravy off. We'll do a gravy off.
Stop. You ripped my cousin today. I don't like that.
I did not rip your cousin. I just said I don't agree with him ripping him.
Well, no, you were like, no.
I did not. I said,
you
I said, come on. Andrew McCutcheon's the best hitter on the Pirates. We got Kyle Schwarber.
They are. But I was bitching about the Phillies last night because they're such a tough watch right now.
You knew Otto was busting out at some point, dude. You knew it was coming. You knew it. I was on the edge of my seat waiting for it. Once I knew he was coming up.
So you watched that game start to finish. Were you at the bar?
I did. I was at home on the couch, and I did not turn hockey on until after the Phillies game was over. I did watch the whole Phillies game.
Really?
Yeah.
And you sat there not doing anything
I had
else.
to because you said it was going to be like a 1-0 loss. I was like, I got to see if this plays out exactly like this.
Well, it's for a moment you thought
Yeah.
that was going to happen.
Yeah, and hey, I need to praise another person. Other than Otto Kemp, it's hard to find someone else to praise. But thanks to Rich Hoffman's great newsletter this morning, I know who Mike Kriegel is. He's a bench coach with the Flyers who's also their bunting instructor, and they laid down a bunch of buttes yesterday. Even Rojas is bunting okay. So we're making progress. If you're not going to bash the ball, we'll bunt the ball. We'll win. Find a way to win. It's the way you like it. It's the games you like.
That's exactly what I hate. I hate
2 bunts.
I hate bunts. I hate junk ball. I slop, no velo pitchers, bunt. I hate that baseball.
You got Romano. What, he 7 pitches? Get through the inning? 8? I don't even know. He was clean, looked good. Kirkring looked good. Strom, I feel good.
He's feeling the Phillies today.
Yeah, how good? The ballpark was electric last night. Everyone
It was not electric.
It was electric,
Stop.
dude. Come on.
It was not electric.
Nah, you were watching the hockey game.
It was not.
Dude, when they walked it off, Brandon Marsh's first walk-off ever, not even a T-ball, he said. How about that? The kids turned the corner. I like it.
Kids turned the corner.
Yeah, man.
I listen.
Saved the season.
Yeah, the bunts that saved the season.
The bunts. That's
Yeah.
funny. I hate that baseball. And everybody screams out, bunt.
Dude, they were beautiful bunts. Stott and Kemp laid down.
Why do we
buttes.
like the bunt? Why do we? Because
I'll tell you why. Because it works. A good bunt works.
I hate the bunt. Hate it. Hate it.
It's like
No, listen,
1945 baseball.
Once in a blue moon, it could call for it. But I would never call for a bunt. Never.
How many
hated the
times
bunt.
has Moss bunted?
No,
Have you thrown pitches at him, and have you taught him to bunt?
No. No, they teach you
Yeah, but you haven't done any side work on that.
No, it's bad enough. I don't like when he throws off speed stuff.
Yeah, just gas only.
Yeah, listen, you're gonna go down. You got to go down with power.
Yeah,
You go down swinging, or you go down with a fastball that they hit 400 feet. That's it.
I was surprised. Well, I guess Kemp with the nerves, but I was surprised they didn't let him take a bash at it, try and walk it off with a home run. But he's laid down a hell of a bunt, and he hustled. He hustled down that line like people are clamoring for people to run down to first. That's what Otto does.
All right. Well, we got to play the game. We have our boys almost ready.
Mike's here waiting for Brain.
All right, cool. So let's
Brain.
take care of
Costa
some
Rican
business,
Brain.
Yeah.
and we'll get Mike up here. Some sanity. Thank God it's Sielski Day. I love Sielski Day.
People are saying that your coffee situation is like a Curb episode, or should be a Curb episode.
I felt like Larry
How
David.
good it was, yeah.
But I wasn't. I it irritated me the
Did you
way.
give her a doll? Hey, doll, I brought this in.
No, I didn't. I don't do the doll.
No?
The people. I don't know.
Okay.
Unless someone's really sweet,
Mhm.
like a older lady.
Yeah.
I could see
But
her
I don't
saying,
do it to someone younger than me.
I could see her saying, "Get out of here, you bald F."
All
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like Larry David.
Yeah,
That's
good.
great. That's great. No, man. Man. I just want make it right. That's all good.
It's not like you're asking for any extravagant.
I tip every day, so it's not like
You
I
just
don't.
do a black
I
coffee.
tip every day. You know what I mean? Yeah. How hard is my coffee?
You're not in the wrong.
Did they write you? Did they write you a
It's-
message on it today?
No.
Oh man. You got no drawings on
No.
it. Ooh,
No.
you
Yeah,
better keep your
yesterday
eyes.
was aliens, a UFO.
Yeah, better keep
Well,
your
that's
eyes on
because
that.
I came when I went to Third Street.
No, Third Street's a nice people.
They're great people.
Mhm.
Third Street. I wish I could go to Third Street every day. But I need it for the ride.
No, I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Did you watch them the whole time? You worried they put a little something extra in there?
No, I don't care. I can care less. I can handle it. All right. Let's talk about our friends, shall we? Let's go a little Ace, baby.
Yeah, let's do it. These people at Ace, they're doing God's work. They're helping people like me on their house. So if you got an outlet, say you fix it last summer and summer's coming and it's still not working, Ace Hardware's got a person for that. Because now they're not just the helpful hardware folks, they're also the helpful home service and repair folks right in your own house. From plumbing to heating and electrical and cooling, they've got trusted pros to keep your house humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing the helpful home, the helpful you love from the store now to your front door and from Philly to the Jersey Shore. At Ace Hardware Home Services, whenever they get ready for the next job, they remember what to bring. You ever have someone who comes over and they got to run to Home Depot because they don't have the right tools? Well, not Ace Hardware. And they also bring experience. Local plumbers, techs that handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installation and upgrades. And they bring understanding. They listen to your goals. The job isn't completed until you're totally satisfied. And they bring helpful to your home so you can spend more of the time on projects that really matter to you. Free estimates on equipment, installation, and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for your home and budget. Service you can trust and satisfaction guaranteed. Ace Hardware Home Services are local. Their teams live and serve in your community, and they're dedicated professionals to keep your neighborhood comfortable all year long in your own home. So visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next home repair project.
All right, let's talk about the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. We got hoops again tonight. OKC and Indiana, game 3. This series shifts to Indy. See, here's my only fear about both finals is that OKC, you see them flex. And in reality, game 1, they were up almost double digits the entire game until the last flurry. And then you look at Florida, and they've dominated, period. So I almost feel like both of those teams are going to take control of the series. I certainly think OKC wins tonight. We'll see. Series shifts to Indy. What's the line?
5.5.
5.5. Creeped up.
I like that.
Yeah, you like OKC. Would that mean your 6-pack today?
I might.
Like go Thunder.
See what's happening.
Thunder. All right, well, check it out. All the baseball and, of course, all the fun casino games like live dealer, blackjack, roulette, craps, Baccarat, like VG likes to play. Also, all the hot online slots. What are you on now?
Played Goonies again last night.
Goonies.
Yeah.
You get the Babe Ruth bar?
Yeah.
Is that one of
You
them?
got to hurry, you guys. When you hear that, it's nice. That's a big bonus.
Oh, yeah? You got bonus action?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That good, dude.
Got the Goonies. Check it out. A lot of fun. In fact, new customers get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. BetParks.com has all the details. You got to be 21. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. We got both of them? Yeah. Oh, look at this. Time to play the game. Look at this. Time to play
the game.
4 for 4 bust out.
It's a wrestling. It's time to play the game.
Time to play the game.
Is that Triple H's entrance song when he was
Yes.
the game?
Time to play the game. Let's welcome the boys. And since we have Mark Kriegel on, who wrote about Mike Tyson. In fact, Mike, you got my back here. Mark is one of the great writers of our time.
Pulitzer finalist, amazing writer, amazing author. I have the book. I've dug into it. It's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So we have with us in this corner the great Mike Sielski.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a bust out man
Who
knows all ins and outs.
Yes,
and the reigning champion. There he is in Costa Rica.
of course.
Hiding away. He's got business to do in Costa Rica.
Yes.
All right.
Got to put on the glasses to go on against the man this
Rothstein
good.
himself.
Yeah, he's our heel.
Yeah.
He's been trash talking behind
Brain,
Sielski's back.
Brain, I
What's
just
up,
want you to know I'm not left-handed either.
Oh man, now I know. I mean, I was scared. Now I'm actually really scared. All right, that was pretty good.
Nah, don't worry, man. I'm rolling in here like AI after a hula hands happy hour. Don't worry.
Yeah,
about
well,
it.
listen. Well, I had like 7 of them last night myself. So I had one of those AI nights last night myself. So
Oh man,
I like it.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
it. How's Costa Rica?
Oh, great! I had a great meeting. Yeah, yesterday it was very informative. Had a great time. And man, these guys I went out with. Whew, these guys can be in the NBA Finals for drinking. I was impressed.
They have good coffee
Wow.
in Costa Rica.
That's not what they were drinking though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I do believe they do have good coffee here. But yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah. All All right. Let's start the game. I'm going to give you a hint of a player. All right. And then you guys, and I'll keep giving hints. We'll start off. You have a coin? Flip a coin.
Coin?
Dude,
I might have an app for that. I have a coin flip app.
Do a coin flip app because I want to make sure we got to see who goes first. If the person doesn't get it, the other guy can steal. We'll go back and forth until you get it. All right? Be pretty easy. And my guess is it won't take long for you guys to nail these things.
All right, we ready? Who's calling it?
All right. Brain is the champ. You're going to call it.
All right, I'm flipping now. Call it.
Tails.
Heads.
Heads it is. Mike has
Do we have a line on this?
I mean, I think
He brings a champ. Brain -1.5.
I gotta say, I would say Brain.
No. I feel like Villanova in 85 here.
120.
I'm saying like how many correct? You go to 1.5 is the margin of victory.
I don't know.
I'm saying 1.5 Brain.
You're going with a spread. I'm going with
Yeah,
money
I'm going
line.
with spread. Yeah.
I
Spread.
go money line. I think Brain's -120.
Okay.
I think it's close. I think
Hey, it's very close.
if you take Mike, it's even money.
Well, Brain, if you're on a basketball game, if it's -1.5, is that about -120? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Michael, let's get it started. Basketball it is.
Okay.
This Philadelphia-born player wind up playing for the Philadelphia Aces after getting suspended by the NBA due to cocaine use. He wound up coming back and playing for the Sixers for a handful of games.
Lewis Lloyd.
What?
Damn it. I knew that.
Now, do the
Wish
photos?
I won
Are
that
the
coin
photos
flip.
clues? Do we want them up there?
You want to not? Well,
Like Sielski, did you recognize Lewis
That
Lloyd?
I didn't recognize his face. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't recognize his face either.
Okay.
I didn't
I mean,
recognize
these
his
guys
face
are
either.
bust out. If you know what the guy looks like,
All right.
you know.
And I
maybe-
will say, some of the pictures are not in like Philadelphia uniforms
Right.
Yeah,
because I
that
guess
was
they were hard to find.
All
So.
right.
All right. Mike,
Lewis Lloyd, that's right.
Mike's up 1-0. Brain,
Yep.
football.
Okay.
This former Chicago Bears safety followed Buddy Ryan.
Todd Bell.
Oh, man.
I didn't even get the picture up. I didn't even get the picture up.
Oh, man. Wow, this is
The battle has been joined.
Brain.
Did you know that?
Of course you knew that.
I heard Chicago Bears safety, and I went Gary Fensick at first, but I was outside the Philadelphia realm there.
All right. Let's continue with football, Mike. You're up. Let's stay in the same era, and let's talk about another safety from the University of Georgia.
Ben Smith.
Oh, man.
Damn. Nice.
I don't know if these guys are going to get one wrong.
I loved Ben Smith before he got hurt. He was like
he was
one of
the
my
real
favorite
deal.
players.
You remember they used him at corner. He was really a corner, and they
Right.
shifted him to safety.
Yeah, he was good. He was a good first round pick, but then he got hurt, and it just what was his foot or his knee?
Yes,
Was it?
it was his foot. Oh man, this is unbelievable. You guys are just outrageous. Nobody
Two-man
can beat
enter.
you guys.
No,
3
two-man
for
enter,
3.
one-man leave.
And there's not even like seconds that went off the clock. All right, let's go to number 4.
Okay.
Let's go back to basketball. This former Sixer had amazing ability, but he could never overcome a huge drug problem. He went to Phoenix and had some success, but ultimately his demons got the best of him.
Oh my God!
I know this one.
I know this. Wait, this is actually upsetting me. He averaged like 15 points a game, or for this. Oh my God! I think he. Oh my God! This is. I'm sorry. This is annoying me. Like
Brain's turn.
Okay.
no, I know. I remember the guy. He went to the Suns, and I think he actually had a few decent years in Phoenix. And he may have even played on that finals team. I
5,
don't remember.
4, 3, 2,
Jesus.
One. I need an
Yeah.
answer.
It's like it was a multiple choice. I saw the answer. I can picture it as soon as you say it.
All
I'm
right.
like,
All
who
right.
is
We
it?
got to move on. All right.
Sielski
Mike
get the steal,
for the
yeah?
steal.
Richard Dumas.
Richard Dumas. Richard Dumas. Richard Dumas. Richard
Sielski
Dumas.
with
Oh,
the
man.
first steal of
Damn
the
it.
game.
Oh man, Brains against the rope. He took the glasses off. He's in trouble.
Richard Dumas. Yeah.
Correct.
All
Man,
right.
that one hurts. I'm
Here we
so
go.
angry with myself.
Let's go back to football, and let's go back to the safety position with another Georgia safety who wound
Terry
up scoring
Hogue.
Oh, very.
Love Terry Hogue.
4-1.
4-1.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's scary. This is scary.
Man.
These two.
Terry Hogue.
All right, let's go.
Remember him in Georgia, Sielski? He was like, he had like 13 interceptions or something like that.
He had 8 picks one year for the Eagles, I think.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
scored a
yeah.
touchdown. 1988.
Yeah.
1988.
Terry Hogue couldn't
All
even
right.
past.
Let's go to this outfielder who wound up hitting a home run in the 1983 NLCS. He platooned in right field.
He's got some high pants.
Sixto Lizcano?
Yeah, nice one, Brain.
Sixto! Brain comes back strong. Did you know that?
I'm good. I had it.
All right. So far, this is a heavyweight. Forget about Tyson. All right.
The Richard Dumas thing, I'm going to have nightmares about tonight. I'm going to have
It's all right.
nightmares.
There's one coming for me, Brain. I know it.
All right. Let's go to hockey. Let's go the same era.
Kenny Linsman?
What's that?
Kenny Linsman?
That's a guess. That's incorrect. You didn't give me
That's incorrect. I know who it is. I know
give
who
me
it
the
is.
clue. You didn't let me give you the clue.
Oh,
Yeah.
he smelled himself a little
Yeah.
bit. Oh.
The clue is a big forward who had the gunk, a skin disease where he was allergic to his own sweat and equipment and caused him to have bad breakouts on his skin.
Can I see the photo again?
He was a big forward.
He looks familiar. He looks like a guy who played it for a lot of years. He looks familiar.
I mean, I can't even give you the easy.
Nah,
like,
you
there's
can't.
a-
You can't. I know that if you. Yeah. Wow, disappointing, Brain.
I don't know it. I don't know it.
Mike
Can I-
for
can
the
I take it?
steal.
No, Mike jumped in
Ron
early.
Flockhart?
Ron Flockhart.
Oh, Ron
is
Flocky Hockey.
correct.
We can go back and forth
Ron
once he does it
Flockhart,
incorrect.
yeah.
Come back.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Flock. Actually, it's a good point.
I think once he jumps in before
Flockhart.
hearing the
Yeah,
clue,
I
he
missed,
should not
so I
be
don't
able
get
to hear
that.
the clue.
All right,
Ron
yeah.
Flockhart. Yeah, he number 14 was it? He was really good. Ron Flockhart.
Yeah.
He
So
was
no
one of my favorite
point.
players too.
Yeah.
Mike, you get no point there. All right.
Okay.
And I see why you did 14 because of Linsman and the Rat. He
Yeah.
wore number 14.
Yeah.
All right. So it stays 4-2. Brain is up. All right.
No, down.
Yeah, Brain's down.
Yeah, it's your
Oh,
turn.
Yeah, you're up. No, but you're up.
Yeah, I thought you meant.
Oh, yeah.
Would you do this
Like,
to Alex Trebek? No, let the coach run this. He's got it, Brain. This is his
All right.
job.
This this former Phillies pitcher was an all-star selection in 1986, a lefty who came from the American League.
Shane Rowley?
Shane
Whoa.
Rowley is correct. That's correct. Did you have that, Mike?
I did. That one I knew right away. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right in my wheelhouse of Phillies fandom.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Here you go, Mike. We're going to go stay with the Phillies. All right.
That was a quick picture.
All right. Here you go. He was a second-round pick by the Phillies in 1984, known for his 6'6", 180-pound frame.
I know who this is. I think I do.
I'm drawing a blank. Oh God.
Known for his 6'6", 180-pound frame.
I know who this is. I know this one.
I'm drawing a blank.
5, 4, 3.
Ron Jones.
Incorrect.
Nope.
Brain.
Starvin' Marvin, baby. Starvin' Marvin.
Freeman.
I knew that was going to kill you.
the
'cause
clue
you knew
about
that.
the weight.
You knew that, Mike. You knew that.
The weight threw me off. It got me thinking he was a position player.
I said this Phillies pitcher in the beginning.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I didn't even hear that part, but yeah, but I saw him and I'm like, that's Starvin' Marvin. All right, we tied up again. All right, good.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Good rally, Brain. Good rally.
I needed that.
Tied up at 4 apiece. This is a battle. Let's go to the Sixers. And this former University of Pittsburgh player who played for the Clippers and actually had a lot of ability, but could never overcome an injury and ultimately failed here.
Clippers. I thought I knew every Sixer. This is going to, and you're giving me a good picture of his face too. Former Clipper. He couldn't overcome injuries.
Yeah, he had a bad injury. He could never overcome it. He was aspiring to have a good career.
And Sixers, the confidence, the one I had the most confidence in too. The fact I'm missing this is like a double strike. Former went to the Sixers, and I usually recognize every basketball player.
4.
I'm passing. I don't know it. Respectfully, I don't know it.
Michael.
I don't know it either.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Who
Really?
is it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Derek Smith.
Oh, God.
Oh. Well, you know, it's funny. He actually, he tragically passed away on that cruise ship.
Yeah.
And I remember, and
Yeah, if I give you that, you're going to get it. But I would think,
yeah, of course,
Right,
of course.
but
But
if I give you his playing career,
that was a
you
good
might,
one.
you might,
Because he really was good.
he was a
Yeah,
great
he
player.
was good
he was
And it was an
terrific, yeah.
injury that derailed him.
Yeah, that's right. His feet. It was like Andrew Toney, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Similar
was. It
kind
was
of
his
thing.
foot.
We're tied at 4-4.
4-4. Michael's up. This is an amazing battle.
Derek Smith.
All right. Now, it's funny. I thought for sure you guys would get that one. I really did.
Yeah.
All right. This Phillies pitcher threw a no-hitter somewhere else, but came here and was 0-4 with a 13.91 ERA. Who is
The
it?
immortal Joe Cowley.
Wow.
Joe Cowley, the White Sox. Yeah, correct.
Did you know that, Brain?
He was so bad. Yeah, I did. He was so bad here.
Yeah.
I remember that. What year that was? That I don't remember what year it was, but I remember they got him. There was some excitement, and he just was
He was awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
All right. Let's
Good job,
go
Mike.
to the Sixers. Brain, you're up.
Rick Mahorn. I can't be. Well, wait, I take it back. That can't. Is that? It's Rick Mahorn, but I don't know if that's gonna be the question, so I'm not gonna answer it. Go on.
No, it's not Rick Mahorn. It looks like Rick Mahorn. Did you get the wrong picture, Cuz?
But that's not Rick Mahorn. I know
Yeah,
that's
I
not
would have
Rick
said that's
Mahorn.
Rick Mahorn too.
That's not. That's.
I got the wrong picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We will not penalize you, Brain. For
And you wouldn't have given one that easy anyway.
Yeah, no way. No way.
No. This Sixer that I'm talking about was another Sixer with an issue, a drug issue, during that same era. He had a great nickname, Sweet Pea.
Right, Sweet Pea. Oh God, he was like a second round. Oh my God, Sweet Pea. Oh my God, Sweet Pea. He did have a great nickname. This was Sweet Pea. Oh my God.
Should I tell him what team he played for? You got a picture? All right.
There's no picture. Okay, Sweet
No,
Pea.
he's going to get you a picture. He's got it.
I remember Sweet Pea was like
He was a guard.
Sweet Pea. Yeah, I know. Man, Sweet Pea. This is annoying me like
Jim
you wouldn't
Moss in the
believe.
chat.
Jim's got it? I like it. All right, 5, 4, 3,
Oh my God. Higgins.
One.
Higgins.
No.
Sean.
I
Not
can't.
Sean Higgins.
I can't get
Lloyd
it.
Daniels. Lloyd Daniels.
Give it to him.
Rolling because
Give it
With the
to him.
picture, I think you give
I
him the
think
point.
because he
Yep.
got such little time with the picture. we
Yeah.
should let that-
Yeah,
I agree.
Give it to him.
yeah.
If he had the picture the whole time, I think.
I had the picture. I would have gotten it.
Yeah.
I just but I only had like 2 seconds
this
after the
next
picture.
one, I don't.
I
want the
concede. He
picture.
got it.
All right, no picture for this one.
The next one,
right.
the picture will give it away.
Okay.
All right. All right. Michael, in this Philly infielder played in 1989. He was going to be one of the great shortstops.
Dickie Thon.
The marathon. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Got hit in the head.
awesome. I didn't even say he got beamed. And
Mike
you know,
Torres. It
because
was
of the
Mike Torres the
mustache?
one who hit him.
Mike Torres, I think, was the one who hit him. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Torres. Yeah. Mike Torres.
How did you know that I was going that way?
Because when you said he was going to be one of the great shortstops, it was either going to be one of two shortstops in the 80s with the Phillies. It was either Steve Jeltz or Dickie Thon.
Right. It would be Steve Jeltz.
Steve Jeltz.
Strong.
And no one's
stash.
going to say he was one of the best.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's a great stash.
6'5", Michael. Let me just take, as we reach the midway point of this battle, take a moment just to applaud you two. You two are 4 for 4 geniuses. You really are. Now, I'm a sicko that I came up with these
genius.
names.
I mean,
no, I love that you came up with these names.
Maybe. I don't know
Good
if they're
names, man.
genius, but freaks, maybe.
Now, I came off
I got a lot of
these-
dates in high school, as you can see.
Yeah. Now, I came up
That
with
was
these
funny.
names off the top of my head,
Yeah,
too.
it's pretty good, man.
All right.
It's
It's very
impressive.
good.
Because I wanted to make it hard, but not, not too easy,
Right.
basically. Yeah. All right, let's go back to the Flyers. Brain, this 80s.
Ron Sutter or Rich Sutter? I got to think which. I'm going to say that's Ron Sutter.
You didn't even let me have the
Yeah, the bravado of these
you didn't
guys.
even let me have the clue. That's wrong.
It's not Ron Sutter.
It's not Ron Sutter. Mike?
Well, Mike gets the
Give
clue,
me the
right?
clue.
Mike gets the clue.
He gets the
Yes.
clue. My fault.
You didn't read
Yes,
it, did you?
he's one of the brothers
Oh.
that played for the Flyers in the mid-80s.
Well, it's got to be Rich Sutter.
Correct.
I mean, that's unfortunate.
Why did
I
you
mean, it's
wait? You gotta
50-50.
wait for the clue.
Well, maybe even the clue was
What
just
was the
it's one
clue
of
though?
the
They
brothers.
both played.
I know, but
How would I have known?
I was
They're
going to
twins.
give you the number, but because he already
Yeah.
knew, you already blurted it out before the clue. He already knew it was
Yeah.
Sutter.
But they're like identical twins. It wasn't an easy one, in fairness to me.
No, you should have. I was
Yeah,
going to
but
give you the number.
you had to go.
15.
You got to go a layer deeper, right? Ron
Yeah.
Sutter wore 14. Rich Sutter wore 15.
I was going
Yeah.
to give him 15, but you
Then I would've
blurted
gotten
it
it.
out.
My fault. I got what I deserved.
Because you're
I
being
got what I
a big
deserved.
shot.
Yep.
No
I
black.
got what I deserved. You're being
Big
fair.
shot,
I
Brad.
got what I
Big
deserved.
shot, Brad.
All right, 7-5.
yeah, well.
You just gave him one. All right, Michael's up. Let's go back to football. Backup quarterback that came from the Niners and the Patriots, who backed up
I know
Randall.
This. I know this. I know
Matt
this.
Kavanaugh.
Damn.
That's correct.
So does Mike. Oh, man.
He's like the Panthers. It's 8-5.
Yeah.
Open it up a
man.
lead.
Matt Kavanaugh was
It's
a good
getting
one.
late. We're
That
late.
was
We're getting
that
a
was a
fourth
good
I,
one.
quarter.
I, I almost jumped the gun there because I saw the number 6 and thought of Bubby
Bubby?
Brister initially.
Yeah, I
but
did the same
wanted
thing,
to wait
Mike.
for the clue.
I did Mike. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like
yeah.
Bubby. Then I'm like, then I started looking. I'm like, wait a minute, actually, it isn't him. But then the clue, yeah. But Matt Kavanaugh was a good one, Anthony. That's a
That's a good
hard
pull.
one.
Yeah.
That's a good pull.
Yeah, that's a very hard one. I don't think many people would have gotten that.
All right.
Small list.
Let's go, Brain. You're up.
Yep.
Let's go, Eagle center, who was really great. He was great in college, right? And also played for the Bengals. He was a great center in college, blocking
Dave Remington.
That's correct.
Dave Remington?
Dave Remington is right. Where did he go to school?
Nebraska.
Correct. All right. 8-6.
Did you know that one, Mike? You got that. You knew that one.
I
right?
did, yeah. It's
Okay,
the
good.
Remington
That makes me
Award, right? They give out.
They named it
award
after him. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go back to football. Oh, my. Eagles running back who scored a touchdown during the 1992 playoffs.
I know this.
Heath Sherman.
Heath Sherman is correct.
He had a great year that year. It was his one
He
good
was really
year.
good,
He averaged
yeah.
like 6 yards a carry, or
Yeah.
he was really, really good that year.
Yep. All right. Now we're back to hockey.
Oh, God, the hockey.
All right. On Brain. We might have found the Brain's weak link.
We sure
Yeah, the
did.
hockey is, that's my, it's not the one for
All
me.
right. This flyer was drafted along with Rick Tocchet and Peter Zezel in the same draft and goes by a name that was already uttered. Brain.
Was my name already, a name already uttered?
Yep.
I just, Tocchet, Zezel, yeah, I know it's not. Yeah, I know it's not Brad McCrimmon, but I don't know if they traded for Brad McCrimmon. It's not right.
Correct.
Yeah, they traded for Brad McCrimmon.
No, this was not a trade. He was drafted with the same
No, I
draft.
know that. I know. I said they traded for Brad McCrimmon.
Oh,
That's
I
why I
got
said
you.
I was wrong.
Michael.
Derek Smith.
Yeah.
Derek Smith
This
is
is-
correct.
This is impressive.
I was
It was-
impressive. I did not know that one. That's the first one I was like, just did not. You could have
Don't
given me
you remember
a
the
zillion
same
choices.
time the Sixers had Derek Smith and the Flyers
Yeah.
had Derek Smith?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good one,
wasn't it
right?
an ongoing prank at WIP for somebody to call and ask a host about Derek Smith?
Yes.
And then say, no, I meant the other guy?
Yes. Yes.
That was a good job.
Yes. Well, we have the best that the Brain can do right now.
Yeah,
Actually, no, we're done. I'm sorry, Brain.
he deserved to win.
You can't even tie.
No, he deserved to win.
Yeah.
He only missed one. Very tough. And you had some good ones. And Mike, total credit. Total credit.
Just two heavyweights going at it, man.
That was really you're real. Again, I knew you were really good because I came up with the list for Anthony, and I was like thinking of every guy I could think of. And for you, it was like drinking a cup of ice water. You're like, it went down smooth, and I'm like, man, this guy knows everything. And so I knew you were really, really good. But that was the Matt Kavanaugh one especially. I don't know how many people would have gotten that one. I really think that's a small list.
Well, I had a built-in advantage there because I spent a couple of years covering the Jets, and Matt was the quarterback's coach at the time that I covered them.
Wow.
Well, still,
That's
there you
great
go.
inside stuff right there.
Yeah.
Look at
There you
that.
That was very good.
Now, I'll go to your contemporary, VG. How many of these did you know? Would you have gotten?
I would have got Terry Hogue. I would have got Heath Sherman and Flockhart. That might have been it. 3 maybe.
You would have gotten 3. These guys are
Yeah.
legit. Yeah, you guys are just legit, man.
I never heard
He
of
was
him.
Mike was great.
Yeah.
Mike was great.
Hey, it was
I'm
awesome.
the
It was
one
fun.
that sets me the most was the Richard Dumas one. Like that's the one I knew, and I just wasn't coming to me, and it just frustrated because that's the one I should have gotten. That's the only one when I really
You would
truly
have
regret, 'cause
got
that
like
one,
if I would have give you 15 for the Flyers, would you have gotten?
I would have gotten
Yeah.
it right. Yes,
Yeah.
I would have gotten it right. But that was my fault. I deserved for it to happen. It was my fault. 100% my fault.
I got to tell you, I mean, you guys were fantastic. We're gonna do it again. This is a heavyweight battle.
Cool.
No, that was fun, man.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. We got
I
you guys
enjoyed
out
it.
3.
I enjoyed it very much.
You want to do a series?
You need to lead into the next one with that clip from Rocky 2 with Tony saying, the man kept coming after you.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
great.
man, that
Ain't
was
gonna be no
those were,
rematch.
and Anthony, good job
Ain't
by
gonna be
you.
no rematch.
Yeah.
There were some great names you came up with there.
I appreciate that. Brain, it was
That was
amazing. Like, this was awesome. You know,
It was fun.
it's
I
great.
enjoyed it,
A lot of
Mike.
fun.
You're really. I knew you were, but I honestly I knew you were very good. But that was great job. You only missed one. It's hard to beat you, man. Again, you basically almost have to pitch a shutout against you, and you're tough.
No
Well,
stumper,
good job.
right? Was there any that no one
Thanks.
got?
No, I mean they
I
got
know.
them all.
Oh no, wait, was there one we both missed?
Oh yeah,
No.
it was Marvin Freeman. No, you got Marvin Freeman.
No, he got Marvin Freeman. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there was one there was one that we both missed, or no? That we all steal? Like
They all had
okay,
an answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
They
us
all had an
answered
answer.
each
Got 'em.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Impressive.
So
The
what we
other-
got to
the
do
other
is we just,
the other three names
Go
on my
ahead.
list were Rich Miano,
Rich Miana, that's a good one.
Chris James,
yeah, number 18.
Chris James, the Philly. Oh my God, that was a
and
great one.
Vernon Maxwell.
Mad Max.
Vernon we probably would have gotten, but
Yeah.
Chris James from the past, he had a couple good years.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there was no Rick Shue on this list.
Rick
Rick
I
Shue.
had him down, and I was like, it's too
Rick Shue.
obvious. Rick Shue, because we all knew that Rick Shue took Mike Schmidt's
Replace Shue.
spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 5. Was he number 5?
So that's
think
why
so.
I wanted to go with Chris James. You
Chris
know,
James, 18? Was he number 18, Mike?
Yeah, I think he was.
he was a former Texas quarterback, high school quarterback from like high school standout.
Yeah.
I always remember him. Like they kept talking about, Texas
Yeah, of course.
quarterback, Chris James. Anyway, you
Yeah,
guys were great.
we took whatever we could get with the Phillies in the 80s, man. We would cling to whatever.
Do you remember the Don Carmen, Bruce Ruffin days, Mike?
Absolutely. I can remember, Brain, I can remember being down the shore with my entire extended family watching Don Carmen take a perfect game into the 9th inning on a Sunday afternoon against the Giants at Candlestick
remember that.
Park. And there's like
remember that.
25 of us just
Don
sitting around the
Carmen.
TV hoping
Yeah.
that he can pitch a perfect game. And it was really cool. That memory stands out because you didn't have anything else, right? You know, it was Don Carmen.
Yeah, Don Carmen. I think he had a couple decent years.
Yeah,
couple
Bruce
decent
Ruffin was
years.
going to be the next Steve
And
Carlton, man. After
Bruce
his
Ruffin was like
year.
9
Lefty.
and 4, I think, his rookie year.
He could
Yeah.
he could hit a little bit too. Don
Yeah,
Carmen.
he could.
He could hit a little bit. All right, while
No,
I got
didn't
you
he go
guys
like-
here,
didn't-
real quick, because we do our segments with you guys each week. Mike, first, Phillies. Any thoughts right now?
I mean, fix the outfield. That's it. Maybe Otto Kemp is, an injection that they could use for a little while. I think it's a little much to hope that he's going to balance out what they've been getting from center field and left field. But okay, they got a win last night. They needed it badly, but they got a ways to go yet. They just, it's what was the analogy I heard somebody use yesterday? It's they have too many holes in that lineup.
My cousin said without Bryce Harper, they're the Pirates with a big payroll.
That's a little much, but his point is well taken.
All right, brother. We'll talk later. I gotta get Brain. You gotta give me your picks.
All right,
Yes, sir.
I'm out of here.
See you, Mike.
Mike, good job, buddy.
Great
Well
work,
deserved.
All right, thanks,
Great
guys. It was
work,
great.
Mike. Great work.
Thanks,
The
guys.
reigning champ.
Upset.
He deserves it. He's a nice guy too. He's just
He's a great dude.
very nice
Yeah,
person.
He's the best.
I could tell he's he's just a good guy. It's funny. Look, I'm going to start with the Parks combo, Anthony. Again, I'm looking at it right now, and I see the matchup Colin Ray against Mick Abel, and you can get plus 260 by taking the Phillies and over 9.5 runs. I'm
Okay.
going to take the Phillies and over 9.5 runs plus 260, and that because I'm like, you know what? Abel's pitched well. I get it, but the Cubs have arguably #1 offense in the league. I think the Phillies can hit Colin Ray. I think there could be some runs scored in this game. Don't love either team's bullpen. And why did I take the Phillies over the Cubs? Well, the Cubs are only plus 220. Phillies are plus 260 with this, and I like the over. So I'm going to roll with that. Is my Parks combo play of the
Parks
day.
combo,
That's my
baby.
first one.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
We went 4-3 yesterday, so we're I think 84-72. And I'm going to start out. Dylan Cease over 5.5 strikeouts, 9-1 his last 10, has a dominant strikeout rate. Tough matchup in the Dodgers, and since the Dodgers are a great team, but they do strike out, that'll be my first play of the day. Dylan Cease over 5.5 Ks.
I'm on that game. I'm fading Dodgers. I'm taking Padres minus 106.
Pods, you hate the Dodgers. I like it.
I've been all right fading them occasionally. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to go Chris Bassett, Toronto Blue Jays over 4.5 strikeouts. He's getting a strikeout an inning. He always pitches usually his 6 innings. This should be 5.5. We're getting that edge. When he lands on 5, that's when we smile. We're going to go Chris Bassett, Toronto Blue Jays over 4.5 Ks.
Love it.
I'm going with one of Brain's favorite teams and players today. The Orioles and K. Povich on the mound, minus 121 against the Tigers. What?
You deserve your fate, my friend.
I'm taking them.
You deserve your fate. You deserve your fate, my friend.
You're back in Povich?
I'm going
You're back in Maury?
Don't call me Maury Povich.
Yeah. I got to take off the glasses for that. That's a violation. That's a violation. All right, we're going to go under. But look, Mackenzie Gore. You talk about a guy who could really right now be the Cy Young winner in the National League. Mackenzie Gore has just been incredibly, utterly dominant. Griffin Canning has been surprisingly great. I took under 4.5 runs in the 5-inning line. I have 2 pitchers who are pitching, especially Gore. Terrific. I don't think there's going to be 5 runs scored. Give me under 4.5 runs in that game.
All right. I like it.
I'm going to Cleveland. I'm gonna take the Guardians. The Reds are on a 4-game hot streak. I think it ends today. The Guardians are minus 120. Ciccone on the mound. Gotta go Ciccone.
I'll give one last play of the day, guys. I'm going to go. Tampa Bay's been playing really well in baseball. Red Sox have not. Pepiot's been really good for Tampa Bay. Lucas Giolito has not. At a pick, again, I think absolutely Tampa Bay should be a legitimate like minus 140 favorite or so. I'll take them, pick them all day. Give me the Rays pick against it.
I got to go.
Struggling Red
I'm
Sox
going
team.
World Cup qualifiers. My boys are playing today. The Dutch versus Malta. I'm going to say the Dutch go over 3.5 goals, minus 148. Yeah, I think the Dutch put up 4 today.
All right. I'm rooting Malta.
Yeah, good luck with that. They're plus 7,000.
Let's go Malta. I met a guy in Malta.
Oh, yeah,
I'm a guy.
I met a guy in Malta.
I do. I'm a guy in
got a
Malta.
guy
All you need to know, man.
Basketball brain. What do we got?
Look, I bet at the I got a good number. I got 4 at the Open, but I do like OKC. I know you, Anthony. You touched on it. You're like your fear was from as a sports fan that maybe Florida may have the best of Edmonton. Maybe OKC is the best of Indiana. I do think OKC is better. I do think OKC will win the game. I do think they'll win the game probably by double digits. I like the OKC side. Would not be an official release at the 5.5, but that's for sure an easy lean for me.
Any props? And I know you.
It's funny. What happens is in these series now, game 1, I had 10 of them or 11 of them. And then game 2, I was down to 2. And now I'm down to none because every single one that I bet,
they adjusted.
They adjusted. And so, again, I'm not just, if you can find TJ McConnell at 6.5, I see 7.5, then I would do it. If it goes back down to 6.5, because it should be at least 7.5 for his points. If it goes back down to 6.5, I'll do that. But honestly, Anthony, these numbers are sharp after they made them exactly what they should be.
What's Pascal Siakam points?
I not in front of my computer right now because I'm away, but I think he's 19.5, if I'm not mistaken.
So I think he goes over tonight because they're back home. He scores more at home, and they need him right now to score.
They do. And Halliburton can't get off in this series. Yeah, Halliburton can't go off in this series. I mean, I would have loved to fade Halliburton's points, but they've made it a low number. I can't do it.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Listen, enjoy Costa Rica. Great
I appreciate
stuff.
it. Good job, Anthony, with the questions today. Anyone who bet on me in fun money, I apologize. But I really had a lot of fun doing it. Appreciate all you guys.
Well, we'll do it again. You're a champ. So
I appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Great stuff.
Be good.
Nice work, Brain.
All right, there he is, the Brain. We'll take a quick TO, talk about some of our buddies, and then on to the main man, Baldy. Now, Baldy played with a lot of these guys. I want to start off by mentioning the BUSTOUT Eagles
Okay.
and what Baldy remembers
Okay.
from these guys.
I'm hoping he's not wearing that shirt he was wearing this weekend.
You're
see.
going to bring it up?
I mean, I gotta.
You're going to bring it up,
upset.
though?
He hurt my weekend.
I don't think you should. But, all right. All right. Let me tell you about some of our friends like Cherry Hill Jeep. Yeah, let's talk about it. Cherry Hill Jeep. Look, a Folk Auto Group dealership, Cherry Hill Jeep. You go to cherryhilljeep.com. You go to in person and talk to Dante. Dante's a sports guy. He would have done well with the Phillies. Loves his baseball. All right, Dante, he's our guy. Like, he will, trust me. You go see Dante. Dante's going to take great care of you. He'll give you the cuz discount. All right, make sure you go there. But they got you covered. All right, you could slide into a Jeep Grand Cherokee this month. Not only is the most awarded SUV ever, it was also named Motor Week's best midsize utility vehicle for the past 2 years in a row. That's right. In addition to being a 2024 IIHS top safety pick. All right. Now, they also have the most luxurious and functional pickup truck on the market. You know what that is? The 2025 Ram 1500.
Yeah.
Now, I always talk about VG. Baldy should be driving the Ram 1500.
No.
Yeah.
No question.
Right?
Yeah.
Baldy should be doing that.
Pallet of red meat in the bed.
Yeah.
He is the Ram.
He is he was right.
Yeah.
Baldy driving a Ram 1500? That'd be perfect for him. All right. They just, in fact, received the most coveted pickup truck in the industry award, the 2025 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Again, tell Dante that I sent you over there and PHLY, cuz the whole thing. You'll get an additional $1,000 for your trade-in and the cuz discount. All right? Make sure you go check it out 24/7 at cherryhilljeep.com. Just minutes from all the bridges. Now, I know people buy Jeeps and Ram trucks elsewhere. I just don't know why. I don't.
Let me tell you about some Shady Rays. It's, well, today it doesn't feel like it, but it is sunglass season. And for me, every day sunglass season. I love my Shady Rays. And, you know, you've all been there. You have that moment when you realize you've left your favorite sunglasses at the beach, on the roof of your car, at a gas station 3 states away. You know, I've been there. I've left sunglasses at a hotel in Toronto. So I was always paranoid about traveling with sunglasses and worried about them. But then I found Shady Rays, and it changed the game because these sunglasses, they're made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, not stupidly expensive. And here's the super cool part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear. I bring them on vacation all the time. Ball games, concerts, wherever, even if you get me on a boat. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. And we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head over to shadyrays.com and use the code PHLY for 35% off. Polarized sunglasses, 35% off, PHLY. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300 satisfied people.
Shady Rays. I like it. This portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook Online Casino app. Let's get him up here. The legend, one, the only, Baldy.
Baldy, Baldy. Oh, let's talk some football. Ay, Baldy, Baldy. Oh, he likes pizza and football.
Oh, Baldy. Oh, Baldy. Legend. What is it, my brother?
Morning, cuz. Morning, VG. How you guys doing?
Where you at?
I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. I thought
We
so.
got we're all going out with Gretzky tonight. So he's got the night off. So like if you wanna have cocktails, that's the guy to have cocktails with.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy just showed up. Robbie just showed up. So I don't know Gretzky, but my buddy's best friends with Gretzky's son's tennis coach. So he's out here. Kenny Albert's doing a game, so Kenny's coming to the dinner. So they're staying right down the road here to W. So
I gotta get Bouch there. Brian Boucher.
Yeah. Bring back. They'll probably stay here.
So Bush does the game with Kenny Albert.
Yeah.
And Eddie Olczyk, and Bush is by the glass.
Yeah. No. So they'll probably all be at dinner tonight.
Yeah. I gotta make sure. You know who I hope is there for you?
Hit Bush up though. Hit him up. Just let him know that I'm coming. All right. But Kenny will be there. They have the night off after last night, so
I know
they're not doing anything.
They're not playing until Thursday.
They don't play. We're going on Thursday to the game.
Yeah. In fact, Bizinet. I hope because I think Paul Bizinet will be there.
Yeah, Bizinet. Yeah, they'll all be. They're all hanging together.
Dude, I want a picture of you and Biz.
Yes.
All right? Because you don't understand. Like, Biz is you. He's nuts. Like, he's the cool. Other than you, he may be the second coolest guy around.
Really? You know him?
I don't know him. I mean, I know him, but not know him.
I mean, I just watch him on the pregame, and
he's the best.
TNT here, so I know him.
He's the greatest. He's stone cool guy.
I don't know anything about his career. I got to look it up. Honest with you.
No, he was a fighter. He was like he's a hooligan.
In fact, like
he would have been perfect. He would have been perfect in that game last night. That's all Edmund tried to do.
How about the Chiefs? That game was
unbelievable. How many guys got kicked out of that game? That looked like the Broad Street Bullies last night.
It did. It was awesome. Yeah. Like the whole third period, as soon as Florida scored the goal to go up 5-1, that was it.
But even before that, even when it was I've never seen in any game. I've watched a lot of hockey. I lived in Minnesota. I watched the North Stars growing up. Like, I've watched a lot of hockey in my day. I've never seen that many guys thrown out of a game before.
No, I mean, not in a playoff game. I mean, that was a big deal. They were in their heads. You want to talk about sending messages, man. Cross checks, slashes. It was unbelievable.
Like rabbit punches right to the face. Like, it was like flagrant as hell.
Did you see one? Somebody, I forget who it was on Edmonton. Guy was on the ice and he hit him with his blade in the face.
Yeah, right, the blade.
That was unbelievable. Wow, that's awesome.
That was Harlan.
Oh, Baldy, have you seen the video of Paul Bissonnette with that fight a few months back? So he's at a restaurant he likes to go to, just chilling out. And a group of guys come in and they're rowdy and they're treating the servers and the staff rude. So he steps in and says, "Hey, man, chill out. You're being a little rude." And they just jump him. And he fights 6 guys. They take him outside. He's fighting 6 guys.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look it up, VG.
Yeah,
sure. I gotta see that.
Yeah, it was awesome. He beat up 6 dudes. I tell you, like, you would love him. You two would be great together.
Well, they said they told me, because I can't be on the NFL Network on Thursday night because I'm going to the game. They said, well, if you send us a picture of you with Gretzky, we'll make sure we'll put that on.
Nice.
We'll add that to the show.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's all. I'm pumped you're going to the game.
Yeah, we're going Thursday night.
Damn, man. See, this is where I want to be. I just want to be your roadie, right?
Hey, Baldy, that's a good idea. You know Gene Simmons at Kiss? He's on tour right now with his, he's doing a solo act. You could be his roadie. You just have to pay $12,000 to work for him for a day. $12,000.
Are you serious?
Someone's done it so far. You get to spend a day as a roadie.
I just want to be hooked up by cable, spitting blood, the way Gene used to do it back in the Kiss glory days.
Hey, did we get a Shakira review? I saw some pictures.
She was unreal. She was unreal. Like, that show was as good as any show you're going to see.
You did the belly. I saw you do the belly breakdown.
That's her Lebanese background, man. Like, that Lebanese background, man. They learn how to roll that belly early in life, man. Becomes natural. The belly and the hips together.
A lot of core strength.
Yeah,
she's outrageous.
Good seats down the floor. Beers were flowing. It was fun. That was a good show.
What was that? What was the? How was the scenery?
Because honest to God, I've never seen a collection. I've never seen a collection like that in my life ever.
Yeah, I figured.
Nah.
I mean, you probably, the next closest thing would probably be what? On the beach in Rio?
Maybe watching World Cup soccer on the beach in Rio.
Yeah.
You could be pretty comparable.
Yeah. That's outrageous. All right, I want to, before we get into the NFL stuff, I played a game with the guys called 4 for 4 Bust Out. These were players from the past that, just test their knowledge with a clue. Some of these dudes you played with.
Maybe.
All right?
All right.
So I just want to hear what you think of them. One, I
You
know
just
is
want a
one of your
thumbnail?
best friends.
You want a thumbnail on all these guys?
Yeah. And,
Okay.
And one I already know is one of your best friends, Rich Miano.
Yeah. Rich has got, I think Rich has got 31. I think he's got like 31 career interceptions. Like the guy took between the Jets and the Eagles, then I think he finished with the Falcons. If you want to go to Hawaii and get a Hawaiian experience, you dial up Miano. He knows everyone. His wife is Hawaiian. His kids were raised there. He went to high school there. He coached at the University of Hawaii. There's nothing on any island, including going all the way to Tonga and Samoa, that they don't know Rich Miano.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember a picture. His daughter's gorgeous. She was taking you around,
Sienna.
and it was cool, man.
His father was a character. His father was friends with Whitey Bulger in Boston. He grew up in Boston, so he's friends with that whole group of people up there. The stories we probably can't tell any of the stories on the air, but yeah,
that's good stuff. All right, Heath Sherman. You remember Heath Sherman?
Heath Sherman had an awesome year in either 92 or 93. I think he went for over 1,000 yards.
92.
Went for
Baldy
over
remembers. Scored a touchdown in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, he was a good player, man. Really good player. Yeah, he's got a block for. I knew exactly where he was going to be.
How about, do you remember a guy named Dave Remington? Of course.
Dave Remington?
Yeah.
It's a Remington trophy.
Right.
Yeah, not all of his joints are all mangled. So he literally, he walks around like he's got the shortest alligator arms. His elbows don't bend. They're all bent like this, permanent. But yeah, Remington's he played in Cincinnati, the center, came out of Nebraska. No, Rim's a great
Nebraska.
Dude,
he was legendary at Nebraska, which is why they named the award.
I mean, but the best center in college football is the Remington Trophy.
Yes.
It's named after Dave Remington.
I know. I didn't know if you knew him, though. Knew him. Your buddies.
Oh, yeah. No, we crossed paths.
Matt Cavanaugh.
Well, Matt Cavanaugh was a quarterback at a Pitt, and he's literally coached. I remember when Matt was with Brian Billick in Baltimore. He was in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. He's been he retired, then he came back and coached some more. Yeah, Matt was great, man. Back, come on, kind of he probably had a long career because he was a backup to a lot of great quarterbacks in this league.
He was a backup to Randall.
Yeah.
How about that Terry Hogue? You remember him?
Terry Hogue out of Georgia, the safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play with Terry. He was before my time in Philly. So he was gone. We had Andre Waters at safety here, but I don't think. Yeah, I missed Terry by the time I got here.
Did you miss Ben Smith too?
Ben was still here, but he had a terrible knee operation, and he missed an entire year. And so he was on the team when I was here, but he never played because he was just rehabbing.
Yeah,
but he was a great athlete.
And then the last guy with a bust out, he was before your time, was Todd Bell. Todd was played with Buddy in Chicago.
Yeah.
And came here and they brought him in as a safety.
Yeah, we brought, they needed somebody to be able to run the 46 defense, the way Fensick did in Chicago and those guys do. That's what Todd came here to help Buddy do.
What do you remember about that from hearing about that defense, that famed defense?
Well, I remember the first time we played him, I was in Dallas, and we played him in Chicago in '84. And I was playing right guard, so I was going up against Mongo, right? So he had Mongo there. He had Fridge. Fridge was a rookie in '84. But Landry told us this all week long. He goes, look, you're going to have a lot of runs that aren't going to gain a yard, but they're going to stack the box with 8, and there's going to be a crease, and you're going to get a big play out of it. We ran a screen to Dorsett, and he went house, and we beat the Bears that day. It was probably 13-10. It was a low-scoring game. We beat the Bears that day. Then the next year they came back and they played us the final game of the year in 85, I think 85. And they smoked us. And they won the Super Bowl that year. But they smoked us that year. But yeah, I mean, you know, they covered everybody up. So you had Hampton, McMichael, you had Fridge, you know, you had Otis Wilson on the outside, you know, you had Singletary inside, you had Fensick down the box, Leslie Frazier was a corner. I mean, every guy is in the Hall of Fame practically. Like every guy. So like literally, I mean, you know, I played center, and then sometimes they would put Hampton on your nose. And so Hampton was 6'6", and he was long. Like he would just swim you. Like you couldn't get into his body. He was a great player. He was a 6'5", 285-pound athlete that played like he was a 200-pound safety. His feet were unbelievable.
How do you block that when they're overloading you like that? Is it just block down?
Yeah, well, you'd run your counters, you know, and so you'd angle block down, and you try to get an extra man, you know, going. So we were a two-back offense. Ron Springs was a fullback. So you try and get, you know, more bodies on one side, picking them off, let their set decide where to go. That was one. You know, of course, Buddy brought it to Philly, and when he would put Reggie on the nose, it was unstoppable. And Reggie would go in there and play on the nose, and he was just like, you couldn't block him, you couldn't move him. You couldn't, and then you had Otis Wilson. You had these Wilbur Marshall were the outside linebackers.
Yeah,
you couldn't block those guys. It was pretty impenetrable.
Yeah, it just going back. I was back and looking at that stuff. It was so interesting. You know, just you needed the athletes to play it though. Like you needed great players.
There's been four great defense. Sapp would get mad at me that I wouldn't put Tampa in this category. But there was four great defenses in the history of this game. There were the Steelers defenses in the 70s, all right, the Steel Curtain. And I'm not leaving, you know, the Fearsome Foursome or the Purple People Eaters and those guys, but because those were front fours, you know, but there was the Steel Curtain. There was the Ravens defense of 2000 with Ray Lewis, all right. There was the Eagles defense of 1990 with Reggie and Butter. All right. Like they were number one defense in football, you know, and so there's been basically four great defenses in the history of this game.
What was the fourth? Steelers, Bears, Ravens, and who was the other one?
And Eagles.
And Eagles, yeah.
Yeah. 90 Eagles, you know, with Clyde and Reggie and
Gang Green.
Seth and the whole that defense is up there with, you look at them on any category. Any metric, like points given up, quarterbacks knocked out. You just pick a metric. Like they're right up there amongst those four great defenses.
Where do you see the shift? One of the things I wanted to talk to you today about was because we begin mini camps and Eagles begin mini camp, and you know we talk about trends in the league, and the Eagles defense last year was just obviously spectacular, right? We'll figure out who's going to be at corner. Is it Kaylee Ringo going to win that job? We got to worry about the other linebacker spot. Is that Trot Jr.? We talk about depth along the edge. But what's the next trend defensively? Like when you study, because one of the things you do with breakdowns is you're seeing this stuff, right? So what are you seeing trends-wise defensively?
Well, if you look at, say, Denver last year, Denver had a great defense last year, carried the team while Bo Nix, you know, gradually got better. But they led the league with 63 sacks. But if you watched how they got their sacks, they were a lot of reduced front, meaning a bare front. They were covering up the two guards in the center. And then they had their two outs, you know, Benito, you know, they had their outside linebackers, right? So they were a five-man rush team. Well, if you're rushing five, you're almost always playing man coverage. So, you know, and they had the defensive player of the year in Surtain. Now they just go get Jahdae Barron, who is probably the best corner in this draft, pure corner. Not that Travis Hunter won't be a great corner, but he's probably the best pure corner in this draft. And so now you go, okay, you got Riley Moss, you got Jaquan McMillan, right? Now you got Jahdae Barron and you got Surtain. Like Vance Joseph is going to play man coverage. Yeah. They're going to rush five. And so you rush five, most teams want to try to get five guys out. Okay, well, you got 5 one-on-ones. Well, Zach Allen had like 38 quarterback hits, right? You look at, DJ Jones, you look at John Franklin Myers, like all those guys can win one-on-ones. In addition, Benito had 16 sacks. So that's, to me, if you could hold up in man coverage and rush 5, the Eagles, their change up last year was to go to a 6-1. Zach Vaughn would go to an outside linebacker. They played a reduced front. So now you got Jalen Carter one-on-one. Now you got Nolan Smith out here. Now you got Zach Vaughn, who's a good rusher.
Yeah.
That's what he was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You got him rushed from the outside. Now you're basically saying, okay, Quinion, Keeley or Slay last year, you got to hold up. All right, we're going to get there, but you got to hold up while we get there. Like, I think we're going to see a lot more, man. Like everybody was talking about cover 2 zone last year, and you can't get the ball over the top. Well, I'd rather get to the quarterback. I'd rather send 5 or 6 and get to the quarterback and hold up. Not in zero, not blitz zero like Spags, but hold up in man coverage, for 2.5 seconds and let Jalen Carter go win one-on-one.
Yeah. Yeah, which is smart because the other thing I think which really helped them was Cooper in the middle of the field. So that allows for that when you got that kind of play going on in the middle field. He really secured the middle of that field last year.
Well, first of all, he's so strong. I mean, it was hard at his size for Travis Kelce, Cooper Kupp. You look at slot guys that had trouble getting off his jam. I called him Cooper the Jam.
Yeah.
Like his jam was as good as anybody. And even in the Super Bowl, Kelce had trouble getting off the line of scrimmage on him. So he's got no fear. Like, if you miss a jam like that against a guy like Cooper Kupp, like Stafford's going to hit him. But he was so disruptive. And that's a big part of, playing that type of defense is you're disrupting the route, the release, the connection between the quarterback and the receiver. And so he was a big part of their success and why they were the number 1 defense in football down the stretch and why they, they had 13 takeaways in the postseason.
I know. Insane. Let's look at flip side now because I'm going to continue on the theme of defense. And you look at that Eagles offense with a new OC and Kevin Patullo. How would you defend the Eagles? Like, what would you do going into this year? Like, all right, this is the off season. We saw them last year. How would you play them?
I would blitz like crazy. I'd do what Todd Bowles does. I'd come after Jalen. I'd try to get what Rex did. Like, I would just try to get free hitters coming at Jalen. Let him make, because can he find the hot? I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying this is what they got to anticipate. All right. That's what they're going to do in Washington to Philadelphia. That's what Tampa's going to do. They're going to come after him. They're going to try to overload pressures, try to get a free hitter, to the side. Now, the Eagles are a very good pass blocking offense line, but if you can break down their protection and get free hitters or guys one-on-one, we called it Bob type situation where you got a back on a backer.
Yeah.
Put Saquon, not let him out, keep him in. He's not the best pass protector. It's been an issue with him, and get him having to protect in the backfield there, or A.J. Dillon if he's in the game. Like, that's what I would do. I would try to come after him. Look, if you give up the big play to A.J. or Devontae, you got to live with it. Maybe it backs you off. Maybe it doesn't. But at the same time, I'm trying to speed up the decision-making of the quarterback.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the other issue I would do, the other thing I wouldn't do is, when they loaded the box against Saquon, it does. You talked about creases earlier when we were talking about the 46 defense. Those home runs came off of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you're eliminating the second layer of defense. You got them up at the line of scrimmage, and so if you get a crease, the way the Eagles are able to crease, the way that they work on run blitzes with Stoutland, and you're able to get Saquon into the crease. There's an old offensive line coach, Alex Gibbs. And Alex Gibbs basically introduced with Mike Shanahan the zone stretch. It's one of the reasons why they had so much success with any running back in Denver. And then in Washington, Alfred Morris at one point led in the history of the Washington Redskins was their leading rusher, right? But regardless, like Alex believed that corners don't tackle, make corners tackle, block safeties. So he has those receivers blocking safeties. The corners, every once in a while, you get a good, like Quignon's a good tackling corner. But make them tackle, make them prove that they can tackle, let those guys go.
Yeah.
Like that was part of the zone stretch. Let the corner, turn the corners loose. The receivers go block safeties and double linebackers. Block inside, block, and then make those corners, maybe they block, they tackle like this. Maybe they tackle like this, but make them tackle.
All right. Last thing. I got a book for you.
Okay.
All right, because you're a reader. This is Mike.
Kriegel. I just saw it. Kriegel is an unbelievable. I used to work with Mark. In fact, my first gig on TV was at Fox in New York City, and on Sunday mornings, I would do a pregame show, and Kriegs was on the show. Then he came to work at the NFL Network, and he did our morning show.
Right. Mark was at the NFL Network. I forgot about that. So
when the show first started, whatever the year that was, the Good Morning Football, it started in L.A. out there, and the show started at 3:00 in the morning out there.
Right.
So Kriegs would be in, like I did that show a little bit, not a lot, but I did it. Like Kriegs would be in, dressing room, makeup room, whatever, at midnight, and we're talking boxing.
Oh.
Like he's written so many good biographies.
So he's the best, right? So he's a dear friend. Like when I was in New York, Mark was the columnist at the Daily News. And I looked up to Mark. Mark, to me, is one of the greatest writers of our generation. And Mark, we always hit it off. Like we were, we're very,
I can see that.
Very friendly.
Kriegs he's awesome.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
But what a writer. Like you mentioned, he did the Joe Namath book, which was unbelievable. It's one of the great books that you love. The characters, he got all the characters that Namath grew up with, the whole thing, what it was like in New York. He did Pete Maravich, which was amazing. So now he did Mike Tyson.
He's one of the great writers. So what's his angle here? Is it the growing up of Mike Tyson in Brooklyn, going to Customato? What stretch has he taken Tyson?
How about this? We got a surprise because Mark
is Kriegel done?
Yes.
Mark, what's up, brother?
Let's get him up here. The great author.
Baldy, what's up? Can you hear me?
What's going on, buddy? How are you, man?
I just had to unmute. It's very complicated for me these days.
Yeah, no. You're too busy writing to understand this.
Video.
But Mark, you're actually right pen to paper versus all this technology that's out there. AI ain't writing this book on Mike Tyson. Now with Mark Kriegel in the house.
Who knows? What's up, Baldy? Hey, I thought everyone forgot about NFL Network. But I was on First Take. I was on First Take the other day, and Molly Karam starts off with a photograph of me dressed as, I don't know, Rex Ryan. I think which Ryan? One of
Rob,
the Ryans.
Rex, who knows?
Yeah.
And that stuff is I blocked it out.
Hey, Mark, that show didn't have it didn't have a long shelf life when we were getting in there at midnight every night. Get ready for that show.
I don't really think Cuz truly understands. And Cuz does understand how neurotic I am.
Yeah.
See, this is the first time on TV, and it's like it's a real TV job, like makeup and this and that and the other thing. And I was a good general columnist, but I was no football specialist. I don't know how the hell did I get this job.
Right.
So we go in. I'm prepping all day. I get in there 11:30 at night. I'm a nervous wreck. I gotta do all these back and forth segments, and we're on the air from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. At 7 a.m. I'd go to the gym. It was nuts. I have flashes did that happen? Did that happen?
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it actually happened until Molly shows me this picture. For Halloween, they made us dress up as whatever football people.
Yeah.
Or something. Anyway.
Anyway,
got me through it.
Mark, I know Cuz wants to talk, but congratulations on the book, man. I know this is anybody that has read your book, any of your books, Mark, know that it is a true labor of love. And that's, people get to read it, they get to talk about it here with you. But everybody that gets a chance to read one of your biographies is going to be so entertained. They're going to be thankful that they got a chance to do it.
Hope you're right about this one, pal.
You first of all, you know it. Yeah, Baldy, he told me I needed to be drug tested yesterday because I was saying how great, to me, one of the greatest writers of our time. And Baldy, because Baldy's a great, voracious reader, understands it.
Big boxing fan.
Huge
Big boxing fan.
But
Mark, we grew up in Philly here with the Blue Horizon. Like, I remember Buddy Ryan coming in with he trained boxers after he got done coaching. And he brought a fighter in, Mark. Now, they love Buddy. He walks on water, Philly. He brought a tomato can in to the Blue Horizon. And he got and they booed Buddy out of the gym. You know what I mean? Like, it was the ultimate, like, everybody, you could be next to a millionaire, you could be next to a bum, it was the ultimate caste system in the Blue Horizon.
There is a phenomenon that's, I think, unique to boxing. I'm not sure it quite works like this with MMA. I haven't seen it, and I'm sure it'll change as MMA has already come of age. But what MMA, the difference between MMA and boxing, to me, and no way mean to diminish MMA, is that boxing has a past. And boxing past is so, even its corrupt past is rich in story. It's one of the ways Mike Tyson was built, with this direct appeal to the fans and the fans' fathers' sense of nostalgia. That's unique to boxing. But there is a sense that team athletes in team sports judge themselves in comparison to fighters.
Yeah.
And it's a weird phenomenon, because in team sports, I mean, I know that you got a camera, especially in football, someone's recording everything you do. But in a sport like boxing, you are out there really, really alone. And I always thought that other guys who play team sports wonder how they would do as a fighter. And it also seems to me fighters are much more popular, more prominent in the minds of other athletes than they are with the general public. Because, I mean, if you look at where boxing is today, it's on the lowest rung. But in the way that fighters are judged in relation by other athletes, it's much higher. Same thing's true, by the way, with like boxing cinema and boxing literature.
Oh,
yeah.
It's better for the writers than it is for the fighters.
Yeah. Well, characters, just the idea of the brutality of it. I mean,
Raging Bull. Raging Bull captured it all.
Yeah, but it's funny, but it works. Like Raging Bull, to me, for all the brutality, it's an art house film. It is a purely artistic endeavor.
Yeah.
Rocky is like a perfect film, but it is a purely popular film. It's not. I mean, I would argue that it's art, but it's a different kind of art, and it doesn't aspire in the same way that like Raging Bull does. But they're both intense and memorable experiences in the general public's mind. You don't got to be a boxing fan to give it, what about either.
Yeah.
Well, part of it too is you talked about it having a past, and the past comes to life. Which is even to today. Like when you think about this arena of Vegas or you name it, where these fighters, these gladiators are coming in, like we all have that picture of it, and it's bigger than life. It's the ultimate, right? It's you against someone else. And I think those athletes, they aspire to that. Look, you're Baddest Man. There is no better title than heavyweight champ. If you were the heavyweight champion, you were the baddest man on the planet. That was a title.
I mean, in America, yes, it was once the title. It is no longer. I mean, you know, who's the heavyweight champ?
I know. I know.
It's Klitschko. It's Klitschko.
Oh, but he's not. He's a great fighter. His name is the guy who has the most belts is Alexander Usyk. He's a great fighter. He beat Tyson Fury, but Usyk is Ukrainian. You know, Fury is an Irish traveler from the Manchester area in Britain. The heavyweight division is no longer a predominantly American sport. I mean, I think it's pretty clear what happened is that, I mean, if you're a big athletic kid, would you rather spend, you know, your post-adolescence in an SEC athletic dorm, or you want to be at a sweaty-ass gym in Philadelphia, no offense, or anywhere else, or in Brooklyn or LA? You know, if you have those kinds of gifts, I know where I'd be headed.
Well, it was also the immigration piece, right? Like when you look at, you know, you go back into this country and the way out was a lot of times through boxing back then. So,
but I think, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that boxing for sure, and it became part of the marketing strategy for any number of fighters. They have there'd be like Irish fighters that put on a Star of David, you know, Jewish fighters. Now this neighborhood, you're wearing a shamrock, you know, whatever. So it was always, ethnic, racial, tribal, local, until you became national. Guys who got the short end of the stick consistently to today in that calculation, just to be frank, are black fighters.
Yeah.
Have always gotten screwed. And I mean, you know, I mean, before Jack Johnson, after Jack Johnson, it's a separate program. But it's curious that Tyson, and one of the things this book attempts to deal with is, why are we addicted to this guy? Because there's no phenomenon like it in my lifetime. I don't know of a better comeback story. And cuz you were there when, you know, every third day I write that Tyson was a piece of garbage. Now sometimes I was right. Sometimes, Kriegel, you're way overboard, you're a schmuck. And sometimes I was on the edge. And you know, when you start doing a column young as I did, especially in New York or Philadelphia, maybe Boston, you know, tell me about when you came back to Philly. Like, there's always a sense, oh, you got to be a tough guy. When you go in the locker room, you can't take any, you know what.
Yeah.
And some of that is like, you know, adolescent preening, and I'm ashamed of it. The interesting thing, or one of the incredibly interesting elements about Tyson, is that he was built in a very conscious, intended way to be retro back in the 80s. So what he was hearkening back, he wasn't the Sonny Liston. They were scared to death. His handlers, oh my God, what if we sell another Sonny Liston? What if they know he's a bad kid? Never mind that they didn't understand the audience, and that as hip hop was emerging, the world was ready, I would argue, for Sonny Liston. But they sold him as Jack Dempsey. And the first component of his professional fan base didn't come from black neighborhoods, but white ethnic, you know, neighborhoods in and around the Albany, greater Albany capital region area of New York. And this was this is the guy your dad would have rooted for. And he was designed as a particularly, to hit a particular demographic, and he did. I think in the long run, Larry Merchant tells me this in the book, I'll shut up in a second, only Don King truly realized how broad and intense his appeal would be. But I'll shut up now. I got way ahead of myself. Unless you want to make it Baldies.
Well, but Mark, did you? Tyson had that sham of a fight last year, right? And so he survived. Like, we all went to watch it. We all thought he had some sort of. He's Tyson. He had a chance. Did you get a chance to talk to him?
No.
For the book after that fight?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I thought I wouldn't call it a work entirely. I think
Okay.
like Tyson came out, took his shot, and then Jake Paul did everything he could not to knock him out. That's
Right.
my interpretation. Haven't spoken to either one of those guys. By the way, I think Jake Paul's a pretty good promoter and he hustles. And
Yeah.
but I see that fight a different way.
Okay.
It drew 108, I think 108 million. What do you call? I know we got three. I'm sorry, Baldy, don't kick my ass. We got three old farts here, right?
Yeah.
But 108 million live streams or with click, whatever the
Right.
okay?
I got you.
So what Netflix wants to establish a presence in live streaming. That means sports, right? It's the one thing that like TV still does. And Jake Paul, who's a very astute promoter, understood that too. He can't do that kind of business with anyone else on the planet.
Right.
You know, for all of his promotional abilities and all of his like followers and all of that stuff, he realizes the only guy I can do this kind of number with is Mike Tyson at 58 years old.
Right.
Now, I think there were some ancillary benefits. The two fights that preceded that on the card, no one would have ever seen, including Serrano Taylor 2, the women's championship fight.
Okay.
So I think it actually had some ancillary benefits for boxing. But the question is, why a 58-year-old guy, you know, who's thriving in the smoking marijuana business, God bless him, right? Why this guy commands that type of attention at 58 years old? My argument is the answers to the question or the riddle is in this book, but because of the particular way that he was built, which will never done before, and certainly will never be done again.
Well, you're right in so many ways because, you know, his greatness, he didn't
His
fight
greatness in the
anybody.
ring lasted a very short time, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so, but it was the way he did it. It was his division of coming out in the ring. Like, you close your eyes. There was nothing like him coming in bare bone with the towel, the way he was built. He was the ultimate picture. Listen, as you know, beautiful as Ali was, right? Bulldog Frazier, the whole thing. Tyson just felt like the personification of brute. And I don't know, we were captivated by it.
Right. But there are a couple of elements that went into that. I mean, like more than a couple. You know, we spoke twice, but not as interviews, but basically to establish sort of ground rules. Because I try never to do like an as told to, and I had no expectation that Tyson is going to sit down and tell me his life story again when he has 2 volumes of autobiography on the arm, you know, because he likes Mark Kriegel, who, you know, demonized him in the 1990s. And I do think differently of him now. But one of the things when I started to actually look at it, and I didn't want to do this book, didn't want to do this. But I owed the publisher money, and I thought about it and thought maybe I could do some kind of an essay or cheat. Because I didn't really want to confront the guy I was or what I had written when Cuz was busy deifying me as an even younger and sillier guy. But I'm just joking. I love you. You know that, right? But in our conversations, I said to him, listen, I'm not sure Cuss the model, the guy who got him out of like a juvenile detention center and started training him. I'm not sure he did you nothing but favors in the usual progression for a fighter, you know, kid who's been in trouble. Hey, listen, kid, we'll get you working. We'll see what you have. Maybe we'll put you in the gloves, and who knows, you go back to school, see if things work out. And maybe one day you'll turn pro, or maybe one day you'll even fight for a title champ. And the kid goes, yeah, coach. Okay. In the case of Tyson, he comes out, he performs on audition for D'Amato, and D'Amato immediately declares, here's going to be the youngest, the greatest, the best, the baddest, the meanest, the most immortal. And I said, Mike, you know, what this guy's asking you is not to turn pro or trust you with your career or your life even, but he's telling a 13-year-old kid, make me immortal. And so there's nothing in between that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, make me live forever.
Right.
Now, Tyson pushes back on it, and I understand, because in his mind, Cus D'Amato was responsible for getting him out of lockup and giving him life. But my question is, if a guy asks you, make me live forever, well, what's the price?
Right. Right.
Because there was, man.
Right.
I would say, Mark, you're talking about how unique the creation of Mike Tyson was. Like the beginning of the end. You said it wasn't a long run. It wasn't. But I would say that anybody that followed boxing or any sport fan will remember where they were when Buster Douglas knocked him out.
Or when he knocked out Spinks. This book actually ends on the Spinks fight.
Okay.
With Trump ascending.
Yes.
After Trump, not a political statement, but after Trump completely screwed up the whole USFL, he sets his sights on boxing. Boxing's kind of perfect because it's a great haven for narcissists. And the plan he had made a lot of sense. What he needed Tyson for was to move the power, the capital of boxing, from Vegas to Atlantic City, specifically to his casinos, because he saw the effect that Tyson had on the drop in his casinos. So it was a pretty rational calculation. And, he built a tunnel from the Taj Mahal. I don't think it existed quite yet, but from Trump Plaza directly to the convention center. So, you wouldn't have to mix with the riffraff. But that's the height of his career. The reason why it takes off, I think, is because it's fortified. The first element of it is this beautiful story of Cus and the kid. Mm-hmm. And, there were elements, it certainly lacked nuance. There were elements that were counterfeit, and there were elements that were true. But the story itself was so poetic, and it was written in great measure by some of America's best newspaper guys. And Cus had charmed great writers for decades. I mean, I'm going through the clippings of Cus and Floyd Patterson, who was his first youngest champion, who he got out of a juvenile prison in Brooklyn. Okay. That's how, when Cus was good, he was really good. But I'm watching that account, and I can see a famous writer by the name of Gay Talese actually learning to write, becoming Gay Talese, until he does his famous Esquire piece on Floyd Patterson, which says, and it's germane in the case of Tyson, that what fighters fear more than getting beat up is humiliation. And it's really important in explaining Tyson. There's three elements in any fight. It's you, it's the other guy, the other girl now, and the audience. And getting your ass kicked is one thing, but getting your ass kicked in front of people, that's a whole different dynamic. And if people see you get your ass kicked, then it's much more difficult for you to be scary. And the irony is that D'Amato, who had this extraordinary, beautiful, almost theological sense of fear and how you have to stand up to the bully and how you defeat a bully and run across the ring and punch him in the mouth first. In Tyson, he created the greatest, most theatrical fear machine ever in the history of boxing. It's really kind of extraordinary. And Mike's greatest weapon became redirecting his fear onto the other guy, to the point where, and I'm dealing with his early career, but you can see it still in his later career, and you can still see it in the way we're attracted to him. Matchmakers had to literally push guys out of the dressing room to go fight, to go face it. And by the way, these are not all tomato cans. Like,
No,
he just made them look like tomato cans.
Right, like
these are trained American heavyweights. The other element, so you have this this beautiful story of cussing the kid that's going to attract intense coverage for a long time. Then you have the knockouts themselves. And if you remember Trevor Berbick, for instance, the first time he won a title in '86, his first heavyweight title, he falls in every corner of that ring, which reinforces when it's replay. This is the first generation who has VCRs. So for the first time, you can play it back, if not on demand, then something pretty close.
Yeah,
you can see it again. It's not like you can call up YouTube, but they're preserved in a way that's somewhat accessible. So the quality of these knockouts are unlike anything that anyone's seen, certainly on video before. What his handlers do is make a collection of all these spectacular knockouts, send it around to every sports editor, every local news anchor or sports anchor in the country. Because now you have a way to distribute it. You put it on a VCR tape, send it around the country. So it gets run there. And the last element is very much like professional wrestling, which I think you don't have to be a fan, but it helps if you want to understand America, to understand wrestling, is what wrestlers call a promo. When you put the mic to Tyson, you don't know what the hell he's going to say. And the quality of his voice, like you're trying to reconcile the high pitch and the lisp with the destruction that you've just seen. Yeah. You go, oh my God, are you kidding me? Well, I got to watch this kid again.
Yeah.
And I think those are the elements that made us addicted. By '88, when I came on to the news and the Daily News in New York, his life was coming apart. And I think, looking back in retrospect, maybe this is just from my years, but the marriage to Robin Givens, the crack up, the additional crack ups. I hate to say it, but that's another element, voyeuristic and nutty, that made us addicted to him too. To me, that's like the genesis of tabloid culture.
Yeah.
Now I'll shut up, fellas. Sorry.
No. You get into the Spinks fight, which is fascinating because that's where his fear is at the height, right? Like, because you talk about the phantom punch and you saw his face, like you saw the fright, the pure fright that Spinks had.
Look, there's one thing it's important, I think, not to lose sight of, which is how good Spinks was and how courageous he had been in his personal life and in his professional life. Larry Holmes was not a good fighter. He was one of the greatest ever. And I don't care where or how he beat Larry Holmes. He beat Larry Holmes at least once. The second fight is more debatable, but it wasn't like he was going in with a chump. And, even when I talked to Spinks, he goes, I didn't really have any great ambition to fight Mike, which is honest. And I mean, he fought a terrible fight because I think he listened to Butch Lewis, his manager, over his trainer, the great Eddie Futch, who said, listen, you got to box him for first few rounds. And Eddie Futch had a theory, never really disproven, that after 6 rounds, Tyson became something different. But Butch Lewis says, no, man, you run across that ring, you get your respect. Great idea. So it turned out.
Yeah. Wow. It's so interesting because when you think back to Evander and Holyfield, he had never had any fear of him. I remember sitting in Evander's hotel room at the MGM Grand before the first fight, and he's like, I'm going to win.
Are you kidding me?
What?
Before their first fight.
Yes. And he said, I'm going to win, and I want you to bet on me right now. I remember this is well before the fight. Tyson was 25-1, and I remember walking by the sports book going, I had $100 in my pocket. I should put it on Evander. And I didn't, which was stupid, right? Because the conviction in which he spoke was nothing like I'd ever heard of. Like he said, he called him, he goes, he's a bully. I'm not afraid of him. I know how to win. I'm going to come and go toe-to-toe with him in that way. And he led with his head, like all the things. But he didn't have a fear. And I think that's the crux of what you talk about. It's fascinating that we're talking about the element of fear.
No, but it goes deeper than that.
Real quick, guys. We're in overtime. I just need to say that. We're in play the graphic.
Am I going to turn into a pumpkin or something?
No, we're in that means we can go longer and longer and longer.
Overtime. Do I get paid more?
Overtime. Yeah, you get big dollars.
Hey, real quick, cause I got it, Mark. I'll see you down the road, Mark. I'm gonna pick up the
Take care, Baldy.
Nice showing you guys, though.
Boosh, and let him know about tonight.
I'll let you know.
All right, later, brother. There he is, Baldy. We continue our conversation with the great Mark Kriegel. So yeah, please go into this element of fear.
So, first of all, the fight you talk about, the fight before that for Evander was Bobby Ches, and he looked so bad, so uninspired that I don't know what you wrote, but this genius said, "Oh, Don King finally found a way to like legally have someone murdered in the ring. Like this is how low we've gone, right?" No one had any faith in Evander except Evander Holyfield. But, and again, this volume ends long before that. But from the time they were teenagers in the same circles, Evander watched Tyson take his first loss as an amateur. I think he was 16, a guy named Al Evans. Now, there's some debate over what actually happened, how bad it actually was. I did manage to reach Evans, but I was talking before about the audience. And in the audience that day was Evander Holyfield. He says, "I've seen him lose." He's a kid too. I guess he was a light heavyweight the whole way through.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was 168 or it's probably 175 the whole way through. But in any event, he had seen it and he never had to demystify Tyson, and he never lost faith in himself. Like in this respect, Evander was like Ali. God chose me to do this. I'm the greatest fighter in the world. That's it. Now that same mindset kept him in, I think, too long, but that's what you need. And there's a scene at the end of this book after Tyson does away with Spinks in 91 seconds. And everyone's declaring him the greatest ever. Well, the greatest, hits harder than Dempsey, hits harder than this one, Jack Johnson, Ali, whatever. A guy, I forget who it is, from Philly. I'm remiss in not thinking of his name, is interviewing him. And he goes, and Evander's just like, Evander's not even, he might have just started fighting cruiserweight. Maybe, I don't know. Evander says, "Hey, how can he say he's the best when he hasn't fought me?" And it's like a quiet voice in the wilderness. But all the seeds are there. So are the seeds of Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis spent, better part of a week in Catskill sparring with Tyson. It's I thought it was a pretty good scene in the book, and pretty. It does anticipate what would happen to them both.
What do you wind up feeling about Cuz after all this?
You got to understand, for me personally, Cuz was very important to a guy who was my rabbi in the business, Pete Hamill, the real great Pete Hamill.
Yep.
And Pete wrote this wonderful romantic piece up the stairs with Cus D'Amato as a eulogy. And it's really like, I want to live in that New York. That was the city I romanticized about. The writers wrote about the fighters and politics.
I mean, you mentioned Gates Lease, and it's like those.
But I mean, it was, anyway. But you know, Tyson had, and this is another peculiarity, Tyson had literary cachet before he had street cred. And it's an important part of the phenomenon because all the broadcast executives are looking to, you know, the better writers, particularly in New York, getting their cues as to where they should be, what they should be buying. It wouldn't have worked if Tyson couldn't have fought. But to answer your question, I had a different take on D'Amato, certainly than Pete. I mean, I think that there's a kind of Frankenstein element here. And Tyson again pushed back on that, but I've written and spoken extensively about the need for a fighter to be a narcissist and have a great ego. He just can't let it go break the seal. But this is a story that's largely set into motion by the ego of the trainer. And you know, you can look on Cuss as a visionary, as a prophet, also as a batshit crazy. And it's difficult to disprove. They're not mutually exclusive.
Right.
So yes, he did pull out Tyson. Yes, he did make him for a time the most feared fighter. He will always be remembered. As Mike told me when he pushed back, he says, well, he asked me to make him live forever. Well, didn't I? Yes, he did. Again, what price?
Right. Yeah.
You know, they cut some corners. The one word Mike never heard was no. I don't think that stood him in good stead in the rest of his regular life. So there you have it.
How do you mentioned your reservations about doing the book, and I remember those pieces that you wrote. I remember that.
Yeah.
What was it like for you to actually go and kind of revisit that whole world and coming up with a different?
Yeah. I haven't really revisited all that stuff yet because it was the book doesn't get up to the 90s. I deal with some of it.
Right.
I deal, you know, there's some, you know, for a biography, and this is supposed to be like a kind of essay. It turned into a biography because Tyson generates so much story. But I have to love the subject. Like the subject can hate me, but I have to be able to love the subject to live with one of these guys for this many years. And so my first reaction is, no, I can't stand the guy. I'm not going to do this. And then I thought about it, and you know, you get older, you get your ass kicked, you look at things differently, you kind of wince at all the stuff you thought was like 1,000% true and how big and bad you thought you were. And in the most fundamental sense, I'm looking at Tyson now, and the book begins, even though it ends in '88, it begins with a scene of him in Orange County, California, of all places, right? Watching his kid play tennis. And he should be dead. By any account, he should be dead. By his own account. And it's better to judge a guy, you know, not by who he knocked out, but by what he survived, which in Tyson's case is a whole hell of a lot. Like, you know, a broken mother, an absent father, a neighborhood that, like, ghetto doesn't do it right. It's a complete dystopian. It's like it's like Mad Max.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's nuts. It's bands of kids and block after block of rubble-strewn buildings and abandoned tenements, and then in the middle of it, someone has this great idea to throw up the biggest concentration of like housing projects outside the Soviet Union. So it was completely nuts, intensely violent. He overcomes booze, coke, molestation, incarceration as juvenile, incarceration as an adult, and the kind of fame that will, you know, a dose of fame that will kill you, like Elvis.
Yeah. So,
you know, that's a state of insanity.
Yeah.
So that's how I got there. I've said this before, but I'm embarrassed to say, but it's true and it's important, that he wasn't real to me. I covered him.
Right.
But he wasn't really real to me until I saw him in 2012. I was doing a column for Fox, and I saw his one-man show.
Yeah.
In preview, and it wasn't like polished up yet. Spike Lee hadn't gotten a hold of it and made it, Broadway worthy, but it was raw, and I found the rawness itself attractive. And he's going through the story, and all of a sudden, this guy who had, never wrote a damn nice thing about, I'm holding back tears. And I see him after the show to do the piece. I say, hey, and you got to understand, my entry into the Tyson story was not as a sports writer. It was covering I was a general assignment reporter, like running around in New York in the age of crack, by the way.
Yep.
And many of those famous stick-up kids who became big drug dealers were his contemporaries, his colleagues, if you will, on the street.
Right.
So he asked me, he goes I remember the night city editor tells me to go up to Harlem, he just got into a fight with Mitch Green. And he says, really what that was a guy's life beginning to implode. Tyson's. And he says, well, what was that like? What do you mean, what was that like? What was that like? Think about it. It's a rush, it's adrenaline, it's like a drug. It was like getting high.
Right.
And he kind of nods at me, not like mocking, but in acknowledgement. And that was the first time he became real to me, like a human.
Go back to that night for a second. The Mitch Green.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember from it? Like really, really remember from it, and your takeaway.
I remember being on the street. It was still dark. I want very much to get something that I could, that'll make the paper. There are a lot of nights like that. I remember a couple weeks later, and now the PR forces and the money forces are making moves. I remember getting a call that he had ripped up the mansion in Bernardsville. He's throwing stuff around. And it was a tip, but I knew the tip was good. So we went with it. I'm just typing, man. I'm like, yo, I got a scoop. Some guy says, here, I'm telling you this.
Of course.
Take this down. So again, it wasn't, I didn't have, at that time, I didn't have the experience with him that the boxing guys had. And I think that the flip side is that his handlers, Cuss and the guys who were around after Cuss, they turned him into such a lucrative attraction to this day that he had the capacity to corrupt everything around him, including himself. Because no one was going to say no. You just had to keep the train going. Very much I guess it's like a rock star.
Right.
If you're in the entourage, no one's saying no.
What was he all an illusion looking back on it?
No, not at all. The knockouts were an illusion.
But as a fighter, right?
No. Look, in the latter half of his career, he was getting by on fear and reputation, and people were completely addicted to him. So he'd get $30 million paychecks after he'd gotten out of prison. And then he ran into Evander, who, I don't care, God wants me to win. And Lennox Lewis, who is a great, great fighter and underrated because he's not particularly charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
But the seeds for that were sown in either of their adolescences. But what Tyson did on the way up is without precedent. Look, I cover kids for ESPN. Getting them back into the ring is like a never-ending psychodrama. If you can get them back in the ring. Tyson fought 15 times in the lead-up to his first title with Trevor Burbick. And the idea that those guys were all tomato cans is BS. They were trained American heavyweights, most of them. Some of them pretty good fighters. But if you think about that, 15 times in the year leading up to your first title shot, come on, forget about it. That ain't going to happen today. And it'll never happen again.
No. What fascinates me too is that time period, because you mentioned Atlantic City, you mentioned Trump, you mentioned crack, right? New York, and what New York was like, what he was like. And it was almost like if you look at our society, it's almost like the last kind of uniqueness. It was the underbelly exposed. It was raw, and he's like the face of it all, right? Like I think about it, like now everything seems manufactured and fake, and it's all fugazi. But back then, it was like real life. Like it was, and I think of him as like the face of our generation. Like, I think back, I'm his age or a little younger, but
he was, I mean, he was that pervasive.
Yeah.
He was that pervasive. Could you hold on for a sec?
Yeah. In fact,
hold on. Yep.
Why don't you give me a minute while I take some commercial? We got to do a couple things. Let's talk about some of our friends and colleagues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about True Mark.
Love Kelly.
All right, yeah. Well, summer's here, which means kids are out and about, hanging with friends, maybe even picking up a summer job. So it's a perfect time to set them up with something that teaches real-world money skills and gives them a little freedom. Something like the Greenlight debit card and money app at TrueMark Financial. If you're a TrueMark Financial member, you can get a free Greenlight account for your kids or teens. It's a simple way for them to manage their own money, whether it's from a job, an allowance, birthday cash, or if graduation's coming up. They'll get their own debit card, they can set savings goals, track spending, and learn how to budget, all while you stay in the loop from your phone. You're still in control, but they get to learn how real money works in everyday life. So before the summer rush kicks in, this is a great way to help your kids build smart money habits that'll stick with them the rest of their lives, not only when the season ends, and they'll be thankful for it in the end. So head over to TrueMark.com/Greenlight and get all the details and sign up today. And don't miss this chance to set your kids up for financial success with this cool debit card and money app. TrueMark.com/Greenlight.
I like it. All right, let's talk about Parks Casino. All the roads this summer leads to Parks with all the great entertainment, the Excite Center, all the great acts that come through Parks. We talk about boxing and MMA, all at Parks Casino. This is how you win. Coming up, here you go. Some of our favorite bands, like yours, Kansas.
Carry on your wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done.
You can sing it. Mark's on a call.
I don't want to make him wait.
He's coming October 4th. Comedian Joey Diaz, August 23rd. You got all kinds of great stuff. Don't forget, we got Gary Clark Jr., July 3rd, July 12th. Mark Norman, the great comedian, UB40, September 6th. Comedian Russell Peters, September 27th. Bill Murray and his Blood Brothers. That's right. Bill Murray, A Night of Blues and Old Time Rock and Roll at Parks Casino. Don't forget dinner and drinks before the show. Libertyville Gastropub and Beer Garden, Parks Grill Steakhouse, Bamboo Noodle House, Chickies and Pete's, ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thanks, buddy. We're back with Mark Kriegel, my friend, and who I'm extremely proud of. Baddest Man, The Making of Mike Tyson. You have to get it. Summer reading. It doesn't get better than this. Cultural icon, and really the story, the unmasking of what that whole thing was like for all of us. I love the fact that you chose that time period, because everything after that was kind of not as meaningful. Like the true story, what captivated us happened during that period. What made you decide to go that route?
Well, again, I didn't. It was a decision to kind of that happened in the writing. I mean, at first, like I owed the publisher money, and on another book didn't work out, and I tried a couple things, and I was really happy doing this ESPN boxing gig. Best job I've ever had. I didn't feel the need to like necessarily go back into writing books because, like, you know, some guys write hard, some guys write easy. Like, I'm always gonna write hard. I'm always just gonna bleed it out.
You should see him when he was writing a column. He was neurotic.
I was nuts. I mean, smoking and, you know,
yeah, by the way, thanks, because I started smoking because of you. I thought you were cool, and I thought that's how you become a great writer.
Yeah, you schmuck. So again, my first kind of way into this was, oh, can I make it like some kind of an essay type book, maybe about writers and fighters and learning to write or not, whatever BS I come up with. I think the publisher just wanted to get the damn thing off his books, so he said, yeah, sure. And as I'm doing it, he generates so much story, it becomes more of a proper biography. And as I start writing it, it's coming out a little bit fuller than I would have anticipated. And I sit down with the publisher, the editor, a couple of years later, and he goes, wow, I'm really happy with this. This is great. Keep going, keep going. I said, yeah, well, you know, you got about 80,000 words there. And I think he's still 16 years old, which is considerably more than we had bargained for. And he thought about it. And you can't write these type of door stoppers today. Like Namath would not have been possible. Plus, I should have edited, but I should have edited Namath. I should have trimmed it down a little bit. I didn't know. I thought that
Namath was
just delivering.
That was a gem. Namath was perfect.
Yeah, it might have. Well, I
love Namath.
It could have used some cutting. Could have used a lot of cutting actually. But in any event, today's audience can't take that many words. At least not the people who read my books. But so we have this. He asked this question, like, you know, if you're going at that rate, you know, you're going to wind up with a book that's unconscionably, you know, just a huge doorstopper. And my reaction when he first says, "Is there a place you can end and do a part 2?" And of course, I said, absolutely not. Because I wanted the payoff for Evander, I wanted the payoff for Lennox, I wanted the payoff for all sorts of stuff. But the more I thought about it, the more he was correct. And the highlight, there is a natural break, which is the Spinks fight. You have this moment where, you know, Trump is ascendant, and Tyson, it's certainly the high point of his career, and also everything's been put into place almost perfectly for him to have like the roller coaster is about to head down fast, and that's where you leave off. But at that point, and there's a back page of your former paper, the New York Post. There's a back page that says "Baddest Man on the Planet," and it seemed to me that was the best place to end it. Unless you wanted like a 6,000-page book, which I didn't have in me. So that's a long answer to your question, cause.
Would you go? Will you write a second part? I
presume so. Yeah.
Because there is a lot. There's so much.
I got to get my game face back on.
Like that bite fight was still. I mean, that whole period with Evander is one of the most fascinating.
There's a. I don't know if you've gotten to it yet, but there's a, how do I say it? There's a hint in here that I think if you read, you go, oh yeah, about the bite fight. There's a prominent biting incident in his history, not his history, but a story that's explained to him and related to him by Cuss that I think, wow. It's not an excuse,
right?
But it certainly makes you think about what the kids were being taught in Catskill and how he concocted in his mind under intense pressure a way out, why he did that particular thing.
What do you
tell me if I'm right or I'm full of it.
Yeah. What do you make of the Catskills? Like,
what do you mean?
So the Catskills, this mythical like, you know, you think about the entertainment.
The Catskills were all the yids like me went to vacation, the mountain. No, you're talking about Catskill.
Correct.
Be more specific.
When you think about that train, like that place, what were you able to recreate from it?
I mean, I think I recreated it in good measure. I mean,
right? Like what
you had all these damaged children, under, being led by cuss.
Right, and my point is that what when you look at that place, what's the feeling that you get from it? Like, is it a place of sadness? Is it a place of redemption? Is it a place of horror?
It's not a place of horror. Although, I mean, like, it wouldn't be allowed to happen today. If you follow what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
And I'm not, I deal with that issue, and I don't have anything, new to tell you on that. But this crazy, brilliant old man and a bunch of fighters, young kids. Yeah. Some of them who, are out of like jail or juvenile detention, whatever, and his Ukrainian wife feeding him. It's a little bit nuts, you know. Pretty much, it's a little bit, and he's talking to him about like, Jack Dempsey and this one and that one, and they're all real. There's a scene in there. They're so real, and to me, the pressure is so intense on Tyson that I'll give you this story, and this is like Tyson has an almost Talmudic understanding of boxing history.
Yeah.
So much so, and he has all the fight films there because Jimmy Jacobs, who was D'Amato's protege, and a guy named Bill Caton, who was a money guy, have all the fight films in the world. So Tyson has this incredible visual library as well at his complete disposal. So a little bit after the Olympics, but before he turns pro, a friend of mine's watching him watch tape of Sonny Liston. I believe he's fighting Cleveland Williams. All right. And 17 years old. And Tyson starts to weep. Guy says, what's going on? What are you crying? What are you crying for? I can never beat him. He's dead. What do you mean? He's dead. You're alive. You're never going to fight him. Oh, no. I fight him all the time. When up here, he points to his temple. Wow. So, I mean, It wasn't just about beating like whoever it was in his division, like Terrell Biggs. He's got him doing battle against all-time greats. You're literally fighting ghosts. So, is it a poetic story? Yeah. I'm not excusing Mike. I don't think I've ever excused Mike. But is there an ungodly amount of pressure on him? He's fighting not just the guy in front of him, but the ghosts. He's after immortality from the time he's 13. This I always found striking, and it's in Tyson's own books, which I recommend as well. They're actually the most eviscerating athlete memoir since Raging Bull or Joe Pepitone's You Could Have Made Us Proud. But Tyson takes it to a new level. But one of the stories, and it's incredibly germane to the subject, is you take a kid out of prison and you put them under hypnosis, and you tell them, you know, your jab is a battering ram. You're a fearsome machine. You're a scourge from God. Well, what the hell did you think was going to happen?
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm supposed to be surprised?
God, right.
You know, a 15-year-old under hypnosis, you're a scourge from God. This story's going to turn out great.
That's the truth.
I mean, Tyson loves cuss, and I understand why.
Yeah.
And what's less understandable and more beautiful is the idea that, like, how the hell did he get through all of this, you know what, to a place where he's watching this kid play tennis?
Amazing. I could see how he became real then. I could see how that was the moment where he ceased becoming this illusion or this whatever he was at that point to becoming real flesh. He's such an interesting, it's so fat. The subject is amazing. I can go in all day, brother. In fact, I want to do a part 2 with you before you write part 2. I have a million things to go over. I'm going away in a couple weeks, and I'm going to finish it.
You finish it, we'll talk.
And then I really want to dive in with you.
You may hate it when you finish it.
I've loved everything you've written. Even your on the mark, your little on the mark stuff. Even though you were at Gallo, who was my sports editor at the Post, used to say that I was a Kriegel wannabe. That you, yeah, idolized.
That's a bad
Kriegel.
snap, man.
Brother, I wish you the best. We're gonna promote this big time on the network, and I love it. Proud of you, man. It's
I miss you, cuz I really do. When you're out in California, you got to give me, you know, when you're doing all your movie deals.
I like it.
You got to give me a heads up, all right?
Sounds like a plan, brother.
Later, kid.
Love you, baby.
Best
See
of
you,
the
brother.
family, all right?
Thanks,
Later.
man.
Thank you.
The great Mark Kriegel. He was, I mean, this stuff's amazing.
Crazy stories.
I mean, how about like the depth of which he went for this piece is like, that to me is true art.
Yeah, I was reading he wanted to do like a cultural history of Mike Tyson instead of just a straight up biography.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's fascinating stuff. We got it back in the day?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. It's National ACT Day. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day. Well, this is a good. It's a little boxing, little little throwback commercial. Little local ties.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How can you not like iced tea?
I never drank it. I never liked tea. I never got the tea thing.
Arnold
I know
Palmer?
everybody
You
loves
Arnold
tea.
Palmer?
No, I like it just the Arnold with just a lemon.
I love an iced tea.
Yeah.
I know everybody loves iced tea.
There we
I
go.
don't understand.
Yeah, we're
I
going back in the day.
Oh my God.
No, we keep ringing that bell. I can't concentrate. It's over, Rock. Now that it's over, just give me something to drink. There ain't nothing on ice till it's sated now.
Lifting brisk iced tea, eh?
Except maybe this.
And Balboa needs a miracle.
Yo, that's brisk, baby. Get in there. Save some of that for the sequel.
Awesome. How you found that? That's unbelievable. Oh, I freaking love it. I love it. Great job, Andrew. A lot of fun today. The game.
Yeah, it was good today.
You know, doing the whole thing.
Yep.
Baldy, Mark. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging. Go Phils. See you in the morning.
Go Phils.
We all silly like the mayor.